lay my head on the desktop.
Oh, there. Oh, I gotta mute something here. Do that right there. And we say good morning to you. We are live, ready to go here again at Champion Chevrolet on the Bristol Motor Mile, Johnson City. I'm your host, Tom Taylor. Good morning to you. Show number 506. I love it. Ready to rock and roll. This is our first trip back in since we were Bristol Motor Speedway. Had a big time up there. Of course, we've now turned our attention to the Bass Pro Shop NRA night race because they're selling tickets like hotcakes with the announcement that Dale Jr. is going to be making his final runs around the high banks of Bristol coming up on August the 19th. So you want to get your tickets. Phones are ringing. They should be ringing. We're looking for a big house up there that night. 423 Bristol, bristoltix.com or 1-866-415-4158 is the number to call. Again, to get your tickets to, what should be a Whammer Jammer, the Bass Pro Shop NRA night race on the old ball cap. We're live here at Champion Chevrolet. We're going to be hearing from Greg Salyer, the Major League Baseball update coming up in a little while. Pat Patterson joins us from Richmond on the Performance Racing Network. We'll catch him live by the phone to give us a preview of what's going on RIR this weekend, Richmond International Raceway, the next stop for the Monster Energy and the Xfinity Series, the NASCAR Tour for 2017. Carmichael joins us, also a guy we brought in town from WLW in Cincinnati. Chip Pratt came down here to watch the race for the first time. We'll get his bird's eye accounting of coming to what I called Mayberry compared to Cincinnati, and then also what his take was, first time ever to Bristol Motor Speedway, to say the least. The young lad and his wife and another couple were over the moon with Bristol Motor Speedway, and understandably so. And last but not least, UT Update with Kevin Harmon. All that's coming up with more, but right now he's here. Look at him on camera, ready to go. He said, I said, I'm going to call him, bring him over here in just a second. He said, no, I want to come right now and sit down. So hang on just a second. Let's get this mouse over here and hit that. And yeah.
Bingo.
Not sure why it's keep doing that, but we're here. Good morning, sir. How are you? Andy Dietrich with us again from Champion Chevrolet. Hello, sir. Look at him on camera. How are you?
Good. I'm still wet from this weekend at the Speedway.
But once the racing got on the track, it was a heck.
It was a good race.
Oh my, some great racing.
And I was so pleased with the amount of attendance on Monday afternoon.
Yes.
You know, when people were in school at work, I did sneak up there.
Yes,
Snuck
you
my
did.
son out of school, and we snuck up there.
Did you?
It was his first race. Yes.
Oh, how do you like it?
He loved it. Took him down there into the pits during the race. It was a little loud for him, but we hung out there for a little bit so he could get the full feel,
Get the feel.
get the fever.
Got to have the Bristol fever. It's not just another race.
No,
Bristol,
it's
baby.
not. It's I've been to other racetracks, and it's the best bang for your buck track on the entire circuit.
Absolutely.
Because the money that you pay for those tickets, you can see action all over the track at all times. So you can hear it, smell it, feel it. Unlike other tracks, like I've been to Daytona, and you feel it go by, and then you don't see it for a few more minutes. And if there's a wreck on the other side of the track, you may see smoke way off in the distance, but you don't know what in the world happened.
Exactly. It's smoke from a distant
yeah,
fire.
it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Something happened.
But in Bristol, it's a bull ring right on top. So, and you know that. If you don't know that, haven't been there, you need to get your tickets. It's not a sales pitch. I'm just telling you. The moment that Dale Jr. announced his retirement, of course, he coined the phrase, it's Bristol, baby. So obviously he loves his track. And in past interviews, he's told me and other media folks that, when Dad was alive, they always circled the calendar. He always wanted to come to Bristol as a little boy and watch the races. So it's a big deal for him in Bristol. And so this will be his last go-around. I know there's some things already in the works to honor him, as we do most drivers that make their final spins around Bristol. So, again, 423 Bristol, bristoltix.com, or again, you can go to 1-866-415-4158 to get your tickets, and I'm telling you, it's going to be a big night up there, and I'm going to go ahead and say it's going to be a full house to honor Dale Jr. for his last official. He's not going away from the sport, but he is going to go away from the Cup Series, so his last official time at Bristol Motor Speedway. So again, the phones are ringing at BMS. We're here again at Champion Chevrolet talking to my man Andy Dietrich. There's a seagull flying by. You just never know here at Champion, do you?
Anything's possible here. Anything is possible. But,
How do they do that? Seagulls flying by.
I feel privileged. I'm sitting next to the voice of Bristol Motor Speedway. The voice.
Yeah.
When I was up there, I escape Tom on the weeks. I see him on Thursday, and then I don't have to see him anymore. But I go up there to the racetrack, and everywhere I went, I heard him over the loudspeaker. I mean, walking down the hallways, walking to other suites, walking down on the track. There's Tom. Just everywhere. He's everywhere.
Well, you're humbling old fella, but thank you. It's a cool gig, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
You
I'm
did a
honored
good
to-
job.
Thank you.
I didn't hear you mess up too many times.
No, I don't think so. Try not to. That's why we pre-record everything.
But no, the employees there at the racetrack are a special group of people, and they work hard at what they do, and they provide a great entertainment for people traveling from all over the world. And they also, a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people do, a lot of people don't. But they do so much for our community, different charities, and helping Speedway Children's Charities raise money that give back to local nonprofits here in our community in Southwest Virginia and neighboring counties. And they volunteer their time when they're not at work to come back and work events and do things to better our community that we all live in. And I commend them for that because they're a great group.
Well put. Couldn't top that. Couldn't say it any better. We're talking to Andy Dietrich from Champion Chevrolet. You know who won the race? Jimmie Johnson in a
Chevrolet. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. The manufacturer, the most wins at Bristol Motor Speedway now overall is 45 by Chevrolets, and the most wins in the spring race are now 23 by Chevrolet. So Jimmie Johnson brought home the checkers. Had a chance to interview him down there in Victory Lane, and pretty humble guy. I've never been around him much, so very humble guy. Seemed to be pretty down to earth. Of course, the guy's a multi-millionaire about 7 times over, but still, that was a big deal to him. And it came across the interview for him to win at Bristol. It's only the second time he's won there. He won back in the spring race of 2010, so it was a big deal, and it kind of carried over in the interview and his post-race, the burnout and the fist pumping. And if you see him on TV, most of the time he's pretty calm, cool, and collected.
Yeah.
He was very animated to win that big Food City 500 trophy at Bristol Motor Speedway on Monday.
It's a hard race.
Oh,
I mean,
it's
it's you're in a bowl with 38, 40 other drivers in a half mile, and it is hard driving the entire time. I mean, you never can escape anybody. Even if you're the lead guy, you're going to catch up to the people that are the slow people.
Sure, the
and
lap
you've
traffic.
got to weave around those people that are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 laps down and keep on going and not hit them. And hopefully they won't hit you. And it's they look worn out. They're excited when they win, or their car survives. They're excited. Maybe they didn't win, but their car is still in one piece.
Well, every driver will tell you, with all the technology and the tire pressure and all the behind-the-scenes technology that they have now to run a race, at the end of the day, when you win at Bristol, you won because you can drive a car, period. You can stay out of trouble, as Andy said. You can be rocking it down the front stretch, and it happened up there Monday. And by the time you come out of turns 1 and 2 and go down the back stretch, there's problems, and all of a sudden your spotter's going, say go high or go low. Well, it's only 43 feet wide, the track. You can't go too far in any direction where there's going to be trouble. So he's right. When you went into Bristol, you've done something, and that's what Jimmie Johnson pretty much said in the post-race interview up there on Monday. So everything moves towards Richmond. We're going to check in with Pat Patterson coming up here in a little while. He'll be live with us from the Performance Racing Network from Bristol, or rather from Richmond, Virginia. And so we're here in Johnson City talking to Andy about Bristol and Champion Chevrolet and what's going on. We're winding down the month of April.
I've got
What's
something I can tie in from the racetrack
here we
into
go.
Champion sales.
He's
I
a
can
time guy.
just
Here we go.
carry it right in.
Take it.
If
Segue.
if you were down there, you notice Bristol Motor Speedway is a Chevrolet track,
Right.
And so that means that cars are supplied to the speedway to use during their events. So if you were there, you saw the tram trucks that hauled people around their black 2500s, heavy-duty Silverado diesels. There were driver introduction trucks that hauled the drivers in the back of them. Those are all Chevrolet Silverado 1500s with the 6.2-liter V8s, the big V8s in them. Then there was also a display tent down towards the Purple Bridge near the creek down there. I guess on your way toward the drag, halfway between the drag strip and the racetrack down there near the creek, there's vehicles on display there. And what that means is, they're like, well, what's the big deal with that? Well, those vehicles get split up, and we got 24 of those vehicles back from the racetrack, and they're brand new vehicles, never been titled, but they are considered special event vehicles. And Chevrolet re-invoices those vehicles back to us at 2 to 3% less invoice what we normally pay for them, so we have more money to save somebody that maybe one of those tram trucks only has probably 200 miles on it, but it's still brand new, but we can sell it cheaper than a black one right beside of it. So I've got that's what we're doing today. We've got guys going back and forth all day, bringing 24 vehicles back up here from. I think we got a Corvette, we got an Equinox, we've got I think 10 or 11 of the 1500 driver introduction trucks, those red, white, and blue trucks. We've got 8 of the heavy duty black 2500s 2017. So these are all brand spanking new, but they're just considered special event vehicles because they used them just that weekend, and they didn't leave track property. They either sat there on display, or they drove the drivers around, or pulled the tram vehicles. So they hardly have any miles on them, and I can sell them to you at a real deal. And so they're here now. That's what we're doing all morning, shuttle them up here. So if you're looking for that hard to find 2017 diesel heavy duty truck, I've got it now when nobody else has it. I've got them, and I've got 8 of them.
And you got a deal to work with.
Yes, I've got more money on those than I do the one sitting beside of it.
There you go. Champion Chevrolet. That's why they're the #1 Chevrolet dealership in the entire state of Tennessee. I like it. I like saying that. I said it a lot up there to my buddies off the microphone. I almost squeezed in a Champion Chevrolet up there, and I thought, no, that's kind of off the script.
Yeah.
But
I want you to get shot.
No, but I told everybody I could, and of course folks have told me up there. It was really cool. People said they've watched the show when we're here at Champion, so that was kind of neat. People come and say, yeah, I watch you up there at Food City, Chick-fil-A, and at Champion Chevrolet, and that was pretty cool. So he's got some deals here, folks. That's the bottom line of bringing those cars back. The trucks he's talking about is the ride of a lifetime, which is really cool. That is an auction opportunity. They'll do it again in the fall for Speedway Children's Charities, whereby you bid on it, and if you're the highest bidder, you get to ride around with the driver. Again, for driver intros, you're out in the truck about 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, just you and that driver on the back of the Champion Chevrolet pickup truck, and you get a chance to hang out. So imagine when they bid it coming up in the fall, what the price is going to be for the winning bid to ride around Dale Jr.
Well, it's funny. I don't know if they may do that. Usually it's pot luck. It's sort of like you don't know who you're getting, because things can happen when they drive that truck in, and when they do driver induction, sometimes they don't know exactly. But I bet they will plan something to see who can get him, because that would be a really neat fitting deal. And he's a great guy. He's one most popular driver for the last
14 years.
14 years. Oh gosh, more than I was going to say. So. He's a neat dude, and he's done really well, and he deserves it.
Yeah, and I read a couple of interviews about it after he announced his retirement, and I thought about this, but I hadn't really thought about it. He automatically kind of rides around with one arm behind his back because his name's Earnhardt. And whatever he does is not going to be good enough because he's being compared to his dad. So, he's
Kyle Petty.
There you go. Junior's got 26 wins under his belt as a career, but no championships. But still, you're right. He's a heck of a young man, and so.
Did you see him? He was at Bluntville Elementary School reading a Dr. Seuss book, and I think contributed $50,000.
Yeah.
That was neat.
Yeah, just wrote a check for $50,000 for the reading program. It was Bluntville Elementary, I think it was.
Yeah, Bluntville Elementary. Yeah.
So that's what he does, and so Dale Jr. So. Anyway, those Chevrolet trucks you see going around the track, that's exactly what they are. They're bow ties, Chevrolet Machines, and they're coming back down here now, right?
They're here.
Yeah, they're here.
They're here right now. And if you're looking for a hard to find 1500 crew cab with a 6.2 liter V8, I've got a slew of them now. If you're looking for a diesel and couldn't find them in other dealers' lots, I've got them now. So swing by here, check them out. They're still brand new. They get the applicable rebates on them, and I get to buy them back cheaper because they're considered a special event vehicle. So
there you go. It's all good here at Champion Chevrolet. Give us the website. I know you got to go to a dinner, don't you? Have to
go to the 3rd annual State of the City annual luncheon is at the Millennium Center today, where they have the 3 mayors, Washington County, Jonesboro, and Johnson City mayors speak and tell the state of the cities. And so I've got to go make sure we're still going in the right direction.
There you go. Looks like we are. Looks like from all appearances, Johnson City is very thriving and very much on the move.
Yeah, if you read, home sales are up here over the other cities. The sales tax revenue, just beat the Pinnacle in Bristol. We've got a lot of great things going for us. Downtown's booming. ETSU's doing great. Dr. Nolan's doing wonderful things there, and so
Milligan's growing.
Mr. Greer over there is doing phenomenal things, and. But our website, I do have to go www.championjc.com. You can shop 24 hours a day, schedule service appointments, buy parts, get approved for financing. You name it. Don't have to get out of your bathrobe, out of your lazy boy.
There you go. Shop till you drop. 2 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon on the internet, and that's how I bought my car. Saw what I wanted on the internet, came in here and wheeled and dealed, and I'm driving it out there. Love
Bang.
Champion Chevrolet.
Done.
Go to the lunch.
ChampionJC.com.
You got it.
Y'all have a great day.
Thank you. Our buddy Andy Dietrich, co-owner of Champion Chevrolet. Quick break. We'll be right back. We're going to switch gears, talk a little baseball. Yep, Greg Salyer's here, the Major League Baseball update. He joins us next here live from Champion Chevrolet on this show number 506. Be sure when you're out there watching us, be sure and like us and share us, and we appreciate that. And hello to we got a growing little covey, I guess, of watchers, viewers, listeners in Cincinnati, Ohio. We appreciate that very much. And in fact, a little bit later on in the show, we're going to have Chip Pratt on from WLW in Cincinnati. We brought him down here over the weekend to see his first Bristol race and fell in love with the Tri-Cities. And I'll let him tell you all about that a little bit later on the show. Up next, we'll talk baseball with Greg Salyer right here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
The deals are heating up for Truck Month at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. Over 300 new Chevys to choose from, all with incredible savings. $11,000 off MSRP on 16 Silverado All-Star Crew Cabs. Check out the savings online at championjc.com. 16 Silverado Crew Cab, $33,685. 16 Track, $17,460. 16 Equinox, $21,615. 16 Traverse, $27,365. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
We're back with the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us. By the way, we forgot to do this because Andy came on first and had to roll out of here, and we totally understand that because he has other commitments. But we always dedicate this show unashamedly to the man who hung on the cross, and so today is no different. Our verse of the day is Jeremiah 33:3 says, "Call unto me, and I will answer you and teach you great and unsearchable things that you do not know." Wow. Call unto me. This is the God of the universe. Call unto me, and I will answer you and tell you great and unsearchable things that you do not know, Jeremiah 33:3. With us, of course, is our buddy Greg Salyer from the Major League Baseball update, normally on Wednesday, but duty called yesterday, and so he is here today, and we appreciate that. And so We're off and running, and good. I did it right. I just texted Jeremiah. I said, "Did I hit the right buttons? Am I on?" Because Jeremiah was in a meeting, couldn't get me started. He said, "Yes, I see you and Greg, so we're on."
Okay.
I did it right.
Good.
Give me some taters.
All
'Cause I
right.
was struggling. I thought, did I do this right? We're on. We thank you, and we have been on, obviously.
Is my
Let's-
mic on?
Yes,
Yes,
you're on.
okay,
Got all the
I'm
buttons.
on. All right.
Make sure we popping on both. Yep, we're ready. Rolling. Greg Salyer, Major League Baseball update. Where do we start? I guess, I don't know, Eric Thames. Maybe we'll start with Eric Thames. This guy, of course, he got hurt. This guy's house of fire right now at the Milwaukee Brewers. And jump in there and go. You got lots to talk about Major League Baseball.
Yeah, Eric Thames, I'll tell you what, this guy is phenomenal. He leads Major League Baseball right now with 11 home runs. He's hit 8 of those in 6 games against the Cincinnati Reds this year. He actually went 1 for 3 against the Reds yesterday and did not hit a home run, so I didn't count that game in. So he's actually played 7 games against the Reds and has hit 8 home runs. I'll tell you what, if the Brewers could play the Reds every game this year, they would
in the World Series.
They would be better than the 27 Yankees. I'm not kidding. Never seen anything like it. They just have their number. They're now 6-1 against the Reds, and after 2 series, and 1 at home and 1 away, and Eric Thames, this is a guy that they signed that I was intrigued by immediately when I heard about him coming out of Korea after 3 years playing there, and just knocked the cover off the ball there, and everyone's kind of questioning now, what's this guy doing? Is he doing something that some of these other guys have done in the past that maybe shouldn't be? And and he even made the comment. He said, if it was somebody else, he said I might be asking those same questions. He said, but he said I've got a lot of blood, I've got a lot of urine. He said, check me every day if you want to. And I like that attitude. So I think it's how it ought to be. Bring them in once a week or so and check them and see what's going on. But he says he's clean, and until he's just playing great ball. So you can't question somebody like that who comes in and is just tearing it up. I understand people are saying, well, how can he do this in the major leagues? Well, he was doing it in Korea, and he just switched over and came to the United States. And like I said, those 6 of those games have been against Reds pitching, so which is young and inexperienced, and he's been wearing them out.
Calling Greg Salyer, Major League Baseball update. We're live at Champion Chevrolet. Obviously, you can see the showroom here behind us, and they've got traffic here on the lot already again today, and they've been there since we got here. So they are making deals and selling vehicles and moving them. Again, as you heard Andy say a few minutes ago, if you're interested in any of those trucks, again, that were in the Ride of a Lifetime drive around, used very, very little this weekend at Bristol Motor Speedway, virtually brand new, but they can give you a great discount because they have been used a little bit. And so you want to stop here and check out all those different trucks that they had up there for the Ride of a Lifetime. Each driver went around the track, and of course Bristol Motor Speedway is a Chevrolet track, and so everything up there is Chevy, and everything here, of course, is Chevrolet and Cadillac. So you want to stop by here and check out those trucks. And again, as Andy said earlier before he took off for his luncheon meeting, that you can get a really, really good deal off those trucks that they used, and anything else up there. There's an Equinox and a Corvette. Some of the things they use as courtesy vehicles to get folks around property this weekend suddenly have become a very, very attractable, discounted vehicle for you from Champion Chevrolet. We're talking to Greg Salyer. Madison Bumgarner, this guy is one of the aces of the staff of San Francisco. I should say one of the best in Major League Baseball. Anytime these guys have a day off, I'm sure all the owners and the managers kind of just cringe because they go out and boys will be boys. And so Bumgarner, no different, went out and got into a ATV accident. And I think, as the story goes, coming down off the hill, riding, and just really kind of a freak accident, as he said, and fell off of it and jammed his shoulder, and take it from there. This is a big hiccup for the San Francisco Giant pitching staff.
Yeah, major hiccup for the Giants. Hate to see anything like this happen, but baseball players, I think, just because of their competitive spirit and everything, they're adventurous. They like to do things. They like to go out and live a little dangerously. You kind of question somebody doing this in the middle of the season. When they can get seriously injured, and he's going to be out a while, at least 8 weeks, I think, from last report that I heard, and it may be longer than that. So you feel for the guy, you feel for the team as well, because you don't want anyone to get hurt, and of course guys can get hurt different ways. I know when Ryan Friel was playing for the Reds, he fell down the steps at his apartment building carrying groceries in one day, and things like that can happen. But you just kind of scratch your head saying, okay, what was he thinking? Maybe taking a chance like that. And of course, one of the things that people have asked about all that is, well, did the Giants have some provision in his contract? As far as I know, they did not. So he's still going to be paid and everything for that. Now, some teams do have provisions in there that will say, hey, you can't do this. If you get hurt, then too bad, you're on your own. But as far as I know, and what I have discovered in Madison Bumgarner's contract, that is not there. So, you hate it for the Giants. They're not knocking the cover off the ball. They're 8-14, and they're definitely going to miss him until he can get back.
Talking to Greg Sauer. Let's take a look at the pennant races right now. In the American League East, you've got Baltimore, game and a half better than New York. Boston is in third place at 3 games out. In the Central, it's a 3-way tie for first. Cleveland, Chicago, and Detroit. Greg, last night, a side note to that, Detroit's Daniel Norris from Johnson City took the hit, 4 innings, faced 23 batters, gave up 9 hits, 4 runs, all those earned, walked 2 and struck out 4. They got beat 8-0, got shut out. Norris, I guess if you had to evaluate that start, it was not a good one at all. Again, 4 innings, 9 hits, 4 runs, all earned, walked 2 and struck out 4. Probably not a good outing.
Yeah, not a good outing. I always kind of look at ERA. That's for me, that's still a great number for pitchers, and in that one outing, his ERA was 9. So you got to say not a good outing at all. We just hope that Daniel will come back in 5 days and prove that was just a fluke, and show that he can be the pitcher that we know he is.
His season ERA is ballooned too. It's 4.71 right now, so that's not where you need to be. It's not where it's going to have to. It won't stay there if he wants to stay at the big club. So as you said, 5 more days, he'll get another turn. And so hopefully it'll be a better turn for Daniel Norris. They are, by the way, as we said, tied with Cleveland and Chicago in the Central. It's a three-way tie for first. In the West, Houston leads Oakland and the LA Angels by 4. So in the American League so far in the pennant races, any surprises?
Yeah, the White Sox would not have picked the White Sox to be tied for first with Cleveland and Detroit. I would have put Cleveland and Detroit up there together, but I would have had the White Sox probably no better than 4th in that division. But I think they're playing better than what any of us expected them to do. Of course, they've won 4 in a row, and the White Sox are hot right now. So a team to be reckoned with probably right now. They're going to have some young players. Still, I think we'll see some younger players called up later in the season, and they're an exciting team to watch.
It's the Tom Taylor Sports Show. We're live here at Champion Chevrolet every Thursday. We're here tomorrow at Food City and Clinchfield Street in downtown Kingsport, or at Clinchfield Street in downtown Kingsport for Midnight Madness. We'll tell you some of those specials. We'll be there tomorrow. Monday, I think we're going to be at Max Medicine Mart in Kingsport. Tuesday, we're due to be at American Import and Auto Repair. And then Wednesday, right back at Chick-fil-A. Next Thursday, right back here. And next Friday at a Food City near you. So we're booked up all over the place. We love that. Let's recap the American League from yesterday. White Sox, as Greg said, continues to play good baseball. White Sox beat Kansas City 5-2. Cleveland over Houston 7-6. Baltimore in 11 beat Tampa Bay 5-4. Yankees beat Boston and Fenway 3-1. As we said, Seattle shuts out Daniel Norris and Detroit 8-0. It was Texas all over Minnesota 14-3. Cardinals and Toronto in St. Louis interleague play rained out at Busch Stadium. And last night on the left coast, the Angels defeat Oakland 8-5, and that's your American League from last night. Today, we've got 2-day games. Seattle, Detroit. Justin Verlander on the hill, the ace for Detroit. Toronto will be in St. Louis again. The first of 2 there, making up last night's rain out. They're playing a double dip. Houston tonight under the lights will be at Cleveland. The Red Sox continue their series at Fenway against the New York Yankees. Toronto and St. Louis game 2, and then Oakland and Los Angeles, a nightcap game to wrap things up at 10:07 first pitch in Los Angeles. In the National League, your standings: Washington in the East, 4 better than Philadelphia and Miami. In the Central, the Cubs, a game better than Milwaukee, 2.5 better than Cincinnati and the Cardinals. In the West, Colorado, a half-game lead over Arizona. Any surprises so far in the NL division races?
Yeah, I think the surprises for me, first of all, is Milwaukee. Milwaukee is a huge surprise. I just didn't expect these guys to hit the way they have. Their pitching has been better than I thought it would be as well. They've got a no-name pitching staff as far as I'm concerned, but those guys have shown that they can pitch. They can They can get guys out when they need to. And also I think Arizona has been a little bit of a surprise. I mean, you always expect a team with A.J. Pollock and Paul Goldsmith to play good ball. But, I think as a whole, the team has really excelled more than I thought they would. They may come down to earth before the season's over. But so far, those two teams have been big surprises for me.
Here's the schedule from results from yesterday. Milwaukee beat the Reds 9-4. Philadelphia over Miami 7-4. Pirates over the Cubs 6-5. Atlanta got by the Mets 8-2. Washington, Colorado, as we told you, Colorado beat the Nationals 11-4. San Diego an 8-5 winner at Arizona, and the Giants a 4-3 win over the Dodgers in San Francisco. Your games today, all-day games to this point: Miami at Philadelphia, Atlanta at New York. You've got Toronto at St. Louis. Also Washington at Colorado, the Dodgers in San Francisco. Game 2 of that doubleheader tonight, Toronto at St. Louis. Then also the nightcap game, a 9:40 first pitch, San Diego and Arizona will be playing again in Arizona. So that's the NL schedule as we have it. We're here live at Champion Chevrolet. What else you got for us in Major League Baseball?
Well, a couple things. One, we saw our second cycle of the season the other day. Trey Turner for the Washington Nationals pulled that feed off, and I couldn't remember last time I'd seen two this early in the season. But it's a fascinating thing that I like to see happen because it's so rare. Also, did you see that play of Chris Coughlin diving over Yadier Molina to score? Now they called that a slide. There wasn't much sliding to it. That was an airborne slide. Yeah, and the fascinating thing to me was Molina had the ball and couldn't put a tag on him, and he just dove over top of him. So if you have not seen that, look that up, Google that, and look at that. That was a phenomenal play, something that we don't see very often in Major League Baseball, but just something that was fascinating. I mean, he literally went airborne and landed with his hand on the plate, scoring the run.
Molina's a big boy, too. You dive over him, it's not like he's a little shrimp. He's a big-sized youngin'.
Yeah, yeah.
To say. So we're here again at Champion Chevrolet, and so that's what's going on in Major League Baseball. And so the series is coming up this weekend. Let's set those for you, too, because Baltimore, in the American League, Baltimore will go to New York, open up a series there against the Yankees. Tampa Bay will be in Toronto. The Red Sox continue their homestand. How about this? The Red Sox and the Cubs this weekend at Fenway Park starting tomorrow night. White Sox at Detroit, Seattle at Cleveland, LA Angels will be in Texas, Oakland at Houston, and Minnesota, Kansas City. Well, there's a lot of sentimental dripping off that series. The Red Sox and the Cubs in Fenway. That's going to be cool.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see that. I may have to tune in for a game or two of that series.
The Redlegs will move into St. Louis, open up a weekend series tomorrow night in St. Louis against the Cardinals. The Mets will be at Washington. Pittsburgh will be in Miami. Atlanta opens up a series in Milwaukee. Colorado will go to Arizona. The Dodgers will be entertaining Philadelphia on the left coast at Dodger Stadium. And the San Francisco Giants will be entertaining their California cohorts, the San Diego Padres. So that's the NL schedule for the weekend when the series is open up tomorrow night. So things are moving right along, and you have told me, in fact, yesterday we had Tyler Parsons on from the Johnson City Cardinals. He said the same thing. You got to go about 50 games into the season before you can really kind of get an identity for your team this year. And so right now we're basically in the 20-21 game mark, right around that. So we're not even a halfway point of that first look-see on how your team's doing for 2017. So I guess to say, to follow that up to say it's early in Major League Baseball.
Absolutely. It's early. Anybody's still in the race at this point, of course. And these teams are trying to fill things out. They're trying to see who they need to bring up, who they need to send down still. They're trying to see, what their game plan is going to be. And at 50 games, they'll know that. So if they don't, then they're in trouble.
Yeah, if they look at 50 and go, what in the world are we doing? That's a good sign that they're in trouble. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
What's going on at the church house this Sunday?
Well, we have Lord's Supper Sunday morning, so I'm going to be preaching from John chapter 6, talking about bread from heaven. Jesus made some fascinating statements there that were totally misunderstood by some of his audience, so we're going to be looking at some of that and see how that applies to us today.
There you go. That's coming up this coming Sunday at Southwestern Baptist Church. A good report, my friend. Anything you want to leave us with?
Yeah, well, there's a young Cuban player I want to talk about for just a second. He's an outfielder, 19 years old. His name is Luis Robert, and a lot of teams are really interested in this kid. He's a five-tool player. I've seen some video of him, and for a 19-year-old, he's got it. I mean, he's going to be a solid player for somebody one day. So a lot of teams are looking at this kid, and they're trying to see who's going to kind of finagle some things there to get him. Now, the teams that are probably the favorites to get him, the White Sox, the Reds, the Padres, the Cardinals, the Astros, and possibly the A's. There are some teams who, because of overspending for some contract issues and things, are not even in the running, who can't even sign him. And listen to these names: the Angels, Blue Jays, Cubs, Diamondbacks, Dodgers, Rays, Red Sox, Royals, and Yankees are all ineligible to even sign this kid because they don't have enough money left in their allotted coffers. I mean, it's there, but they don't have it allotted by Major League Baseball to go out and pay the signing bonus they're going to have to get Luis Roberts. So anxious to see what happens with this Cuban player. You know, those guys have come in and made quite an impact in Major League Baseball. And I think we're going to see more and more of that now that Cuba's open. And this is just maybe one of many that we're going to see in the next year or so.
So it should be a floodgate to open up a lot of talent coming up out of Cuba into the United States, into Major League Baseball. So interesting stuff. Hey, great report. We'll see you next Wednesday at Chick-fil-A, right?
All right, sounds
we'll be
good.
back in the saddle. Quick break. We'll be right back in. We are live here at Champion Chevrolet. We are again on this, Thursday. I almost said Wednesday. I'm used to talking to Greg on Wednesdays. On Thursdays, we'll take a quick break. We'll come right back. We'll jump in, take a look at the National Hockey League. How about them Predators? And also the NBA, all that coming up again. We'll do that right after you hear this. Show number 506 from Champion Chevrolet of the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. Blue Lizard Australian Sunscreen originated in Australia, where sunscreen standards are the strictest in the world. Although our products are now manufactured here in the U.S., we continue to adhere to the most stringent Australian standards to offer the best in broad-spectrum sun protection. Blue Lizard, the brand most recommended by pediatricians and dermatologists. Our smart bottle turns blue in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. You bring the sun, Blue Lizard brings the magic.
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You've been involved in a car accident. You may be out of state on vacation or just a few miles from home. What do? Who do you call? At Farmers Insurance Group, one call is all you have to make. Hello, this is Jim Klein, an agent with Farmers Insurance. It's called One and Done. You don't have to wait till Monday morning to file a claim. You can make the initial call and we'll begin right away to help you. We assist you in moving the vehicle to a certified repair shop, getting you set up with rental car, and informing your agent. Then here are the staff at Jim Klein Farmers Insurance. We follow the claim through to the end. It's that easy. One and Done. We're your one and done location for all your insurance needs. Auto, home, life, commercial, workers' comp, and bonds. We can help you with all your insurance needs. Give me a call today, Jim Klein Farmers Insurance at 247-5400, your one and done location in Kingsport, 247-5400.
Hi, I'm Rob Cole with Bays Mountain Park. There's something for everyone at Bays Mountain Park. Whether you're an outdoor enthusiast or simply looking to get away and relax, Bays Mountain Park in Kingsport, Tennessee is the perfect destination. For only $4 per vehicle, enjoy 3,500 acres of breathtaking scenery, featuring 40 miles of hiking trails, wildlife habitats, one of the Southeast's premier planetariums, and much, much more. For more information, please visit www.baysmountain.com or call us at 423-229-9447. Bays Mountain Park, one of the Tri-City's best places for learning, leisure, and recreation.
We appreciate him. We're back into the Tom Taylor Sports Show. We're live here again at Champion Chevrolet. Thanks again to Greg Salyer. Great report as always. Again, talking Major League Baseball. Let's take a look at the National Hockey League from last night. Woo-hoo. How about them Predators? Did it last night. Carmichael will be here in a little while, talk more about it. But again, the St. Louis Blues roll into St. Louis yesterday, or last night, I should say, the Predators, and they take a 4-3 road win over Jake Allen and the Blues last night. Big win for the Nashville Predators in the National Hockey League, and so they win it, as we said, 4-3. The lead of series out of the best of 7, 1-0. On the other side of the coin, it was a 5-3 win by Edmonton last night. The Oilers going to Anaheim, beat the Ducks. So both road teams win last night. Nashville in St. Louis, and Edmonton skating in Anaheim beat them 5-3. Tonight, the best of 7 opens up. The New York Rangers skating in Ottawa against the Senators, and what may be the best one out of all 4 series, even though the Predators are in. You look at the Capitals, President's Cup Trophy winner again in 2017, taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins, the defending Stanley Cup champions. They'll open that up tonight in Washington. So the Rangers skating in Ottawa, Pittsburgh skates at Washington. The Predators back on the ice tomorrow night in St. Louis, game 2 of the best of 7 against the Blues in St. Louis, and Edmonton will go back tomorrow night and skate in Anaheim again as well. So everything from last night skips today. They'll play tomorrow night. Again tonight, New York skates the Rangers in Ottawa, and the Penguins, the defending Stanley Cup champions in Washington, skating against the Capitals. What else happening in sports? Take a look at some more baseball. Last night, it's even Steven now. Jordan Rogers and the Tennessee Volunteers, too much for East Tennessee State's baseball team in Sevierville at the Smoky Stadium, the Smoky Mountain Challenge. Rogers hammers out a 3-run homer, and Jeff Moberg went 3 for 5 as Tennessee defeats the Bucks 8-1 last night in the Smoky Mountain Challenge at Smoky Stadium. The result avenged a 10-2 Buccaneer victory earlier in the year here in Johnson City. Buccaneers, who had lost to Appalachian State on a walk-off home run the night before, now 19-20 on the season. Tennessee improves to 21-17. So again, the Bucks lose last night, and so final score again was 8-1. The Smokies Stadium was the site of the ball game last night between Tennessee and East Tennessee State. Speaking of the Bucks, winning Coach of the Year honors nothing new for Fred Warren, the East Tennessee State University golf coach, did it again this year. 3rd year in a row has been named the Southern Conference Coach of the Year after his team successfully defended its conference championship in Pinehurst, North Carolina. 12th Coach of the Year award at East Tennessee State. He's won 10 of the Southern Conference and 2 in the Atlantic Sun, and he just continues to turn out great golfers here at East Tennessee State. So congratulations to Fred Warren. 3rd year in a row has been named the Southern Conference Golf Coach of the Year. Again, his 12th all told, and just a class act. You don't get him any better than Fred Warren, the coach again of the East Tennessee State Buccaneer golf team. Tom Taylor Sports Show again. We are live here at Champion Chevrolet. We've got a NASCAR segment coming up here in a few minutes, talking what's going on as the lads of NASCAR roll into Richmond. I got a text a few minutes ago from Pat Patterson, our scheduled guest today. He's had a scheduling conflict. He'll be with us tomorrow at 11:30. We'll talk a little NASCAR with Pat Patterson from the Performance Racing Network. He'll join us tomorrow, live from Richmond. College basketball, it was inevitable when you do well in college basketball as a coach, you get rewarded. Such the case as Northwestern's Chris Collins. Again, a long-term contract now. The school jointly announcing renegotiated contracts for him and for the Northwestern football coach, Pat Fitzgerald, who's long been considered a lifelong type guy for the Wildcats football program. They've stepped up to the plate and opened up the checkbook. Again, Collins' new deal is through 24-25 season, worth about $3 million a year now. And so he is going to be set financially. Wildcats 24-12 last season, a number 8 seed, and defeated Vanderbilt in the first round of the NCAA tournament. 24 wins at Northwestern was a single-season program record, and so they rewarded him with a big, hefty pay raise and a long-term contract for Chris Collins, the men's basketball coach at Northwestern University. Speaking of golf, again, if you'd like to help some kids, this is how you can do it. The St. Jude's Golf Tournament coming up, not this Sunday, but next Sunday. It's upon us, May the 7th. Again, the Country Club in Bristol. Again, finding cures and saving children. It's going to be a week from Sunday at 1 o'clock, Country Club at Bristol. Again, it'll be put on by the Gold Wing Riders, Gold Wing Riders Association, Tennessee Chapter C, the Tri-City Wings. That's going to be going on again a week from Sunday at the Country Club in Bristol. Starts at 1 o'clock. It was a couple of weeks ago, it was about 40 to 50% full. I'm sure more names are rolling in now, more teams. It is $70 per person, $250 per team. It is captain's choice, 4-person. There's going to be a contest, as always, a putting contest, longest drive, closest to the pin, hole-in-one. And if you hit the right hole in that hole-in-one sponsor, you can win yourself a 2017 Honda Accord from Bill Gatton Honda in Bristol. So it's all about St. Jude's, the 18th annual St. Jude's Benefit Golf Tournament coming up again a week from Sunday. If you are interested in playing, please call Tom Jayne, Jayne. His phone number is 323-2239, 323-2239. Again, the 18th annual St. Jude Benefit Golf Tournament, 323-2239 is the number to call. Also want to remind you, coming up tomorrow, again at Bristol Dragway. Again, the racing week is over for now till we get back in here in next month, and also coming up in August. So the DER Bracket Series starting tomorrow and running through Sunday at Bristol Dragway. You go to bristoldragway.com for all the information there. Street fights pick back up next Thursday night, but this weekend starting tomorrow. Test and tune is tomorrow, and then racing will be Friday, or rather Saturday and Sunday. The DER Bracket Series, and that'll be this weekend at Bristol Dragway. Again, you can find out more by going to bristoldragway.com. Tom Taylor Sports Show, again, show number 506. We're live here at Champion Chevrolet on the Bristol Motor Mile, in Johnson City. Tomorrow we're going to be at Food City and Kingsport. We've got the Midnight Madness sale going on tomorrow at all Food Cities. Here are some of the specials. We'll be at Food City at Tommy Stanley's store tomorrow on Clinchfield Street in downtown Kingsport. Here are some of in fact, here we have the Midnight Madness sale, and we've got a ton of them to tell you about. If, for example, you like Kay's Classic Ice Cream, a 5-quart bucket, if you will, limit 2 for $4.99, coming up again tomorrow, the Midnight Madness sale. Food Club Coffee, 12-count cups, 3 for $10. Also tomorrow at your local Food City, over 120 stores in 4 states. We're now in, of course, Tennessee home base, Georgia, Kentucky, and Virginia, and Tennessee, 4 states. Red Ripe strawberries. Love me some strawberries. 16-ounce container, limit 2 for $1.68 tomorrow, and tomorrow only. Food City Fresh Fryer Breast Tenders, family pack, $1.99 a pound. That's going to be going on tomorrow. Also, if you like Cheetos or Fritos, those bags limit 4 for $1.88 tomorrow at your local Food City. And also, I'm just going to be bopping around this, Purex laundry detergent. Comes in liquid. Limit 4 makes 90 to 96 loads for $4.99, limit 4 per person. So that's all that going on again tomorrow. Again at Food City, and we'll be at Food City on Clinchfield Street in downtown Kingsport, broadcasting live there with the Tom Taylor Sports Show for the Midnight Madness sale. Again, for all the folks at all the stores at Food City. Coming up this weekend, you have the Zurich and the Golf PGA Tour stops in Louisiana, the TPC Louisiana Zurich Classic of New Orleans, a $7.1 million purse. They'll start that today and run it through Sunday. The Zurich Classic of New Orleans, that is the next stop on the PGA Tour this weekend in Louisiana. We'll take a quick break, come right back, take a look at the National Basketball Association. Carmichael joins us coming up at the top of the hour. We're live here at Champion Chevrolet, show number 506 at the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
The deals are heating up for Truck Month at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. Over 300 new Chevys to choose from, all with incredible savings. $11,000 off MSRP on 16 Silverado All-Star Crew Cabs. Check out the savings online at championjc.com. 16 Silverado Crew Cab, $33,685. 16 Track, $17,460. 16 Equinox, $21,615. 16 Traverse, $27,365. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import and Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
Back at the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us again on this Thursday, broadcasting live from Champion Chevrolet in the Bristol Motor Mile in Johnson City. Let's run down the National Basketball Association for you. Again, you have from yesterday and last night, Washington, the Wizards beat Atlanta 103-99. Washington now leads that series 3-2. The Boston Celtics defeat the Chicago Bulls 108-97. Boston now leads that series 3-2. And coming up tonight in the NBA, you've got Toronto, the Raptors at Milwaukee to battle the Bucks. The road teams have the lead right now. Toronto with 3-2 lead in the best of 7 in Milwaukee against the Bucks tonight. And then my boys, the San Antonio Spurs, they're going to be on the road in Memphis tonight. In Memphis, baby, as Elvis would say. In Memphis. It's terrible. San Antonio with a 3-2 lead in the best of 7 in Memphis tonight to battle the Grizzlies to see what can happen there. Of course, the Spurs win, they'll get ready for the Houston Rockets coming up next. If not, if they lose tonight, they'll go back to San Antonio for the 7th and deciding game in the series coming up on Saturdays. That's what's happening in the NBA. Again tonight on the ice, it's the Rangers skating in Ottawa and the Pittsburgh Penguins skating in Washington against the Capitals. We do this every day. Got to tell you about the folks known as Pantene Beautiful Lengths. We're growing our hair for that very, very reason. So when it gets the appropriate length, we'll have it whacked off and will be sent off to PanteneBeautifulLengths.com. The point to that is to help ladies going through cancer treatment, either radiation or chemotherapy. And so we're growing the hair for that because they will take this hair and weave it into some others, of course, and they will create a high-quality wig by their partner Hair You Wear, which is copyrighted. And so it'll go to a woman affected by hair loss from cancer. So Pantene Beautiful Lengths offering free real hair wigs to all women who've lost their hair due to cancer treatments, whether it's chemo or radiation or both. So in partnership with American Cancer Society, Pantene Beautiful Lengths wigs are distributed through American Cancer Society wig banks around the country. So that's why we're doing this. And once it hits the appropriate length, we'll whack it off and probably do it all over again. I enjoy this, and And we appreciate the opportunity to help some folks again through the American Cancer Society. Carmichael's making his way in. While he's doing that, let's tell you about one of our great sponsors, the good folks at Max Medicine Mart. Through the end of the month, Nature's Way, all product supplements are 20% off at Max Medicine Mart, so make tracks to Max, and you do, and we appreciate that. So we'll be there broadcasting live on Monday. So everything Nature's Way at Max Medicine Mart through the month of April is 20% off, and so you can go in there today, save 20%, go tomorrow and save 20% all the way through the end of the month. When is the 1st of May? I guess that would be on Monday. Monday would be the 1st of the month. Wow. Hard to believe. We're hitting May. It seemed like the other day was Valentine's Day, and now we're going to hit into the vacation stretch with and big holidays coming in with Mother's Day, Memorial Day, the 4th of July, Father's Day, Flag Day, all kinds of good ones coming up. So hard to believe it just keeps on keeping on. Dad used to say the older you get, the faster it goes. I think he's right. So anyway, through the end of this month, it is Nature's Way, 20% off at Max Medicine Mart. Again, make tracks to Max, and you do, on Center Street in Kingsport. Also, a lot of folks gearing up to go out of the country. I know several folks getting ready to go on mission trips and have to get their passport updated, including some immunizations. So if you're getting ready to go out of country and you need, or going off to camp, I know when I used to go to Bluestone Church Camp up in West Virginia, I loved it. Every year I had to go get a not a rabies, what's the tetanus shot? Thank you, a tetanus shot. Thank you, Carmichael. Tetanus shot every year. So they can apply that for you. They can also administer rabies shots. They can administer any kind of shot you would need to go out of the country to serve in going either on a vacation, or, as I said, I know a lot of folks going out of country on mission trips. So all that can be done at Max Medicine Mart through your immunization destination. Again, you can go in there. They'll, of course, administer it right there on the spot. They have a private setting there away from all the folks. So if you're a little squeamish about getting shots and don't really like to be let other people see how you react to shots, that's okay, because they have a little private area, a little office if you want to go back in and administer it right there on the spot. And so your immunization destination, as we say, is Max Medicine Mart on Center Street in Kingsport. They're open 7 days a week. And also Nature's Way products, again, are currently 20% off for the month of April. Before we go to the break, Carmichael waits in the wings. We got to talk about the National Hockey League. Probably the biggest thing in sports, I've waited till he got here because he knows what's going on. I've got 10 names here that should go in the, starting tonight, the first round of the NFL draft. And so there's a lot going on. Of course, my boys, the Oakland Raiders, the Raiders, picked up Marshawn Lynch, which I think is huge. We'll see what he thinks. We'll talk NBA. We'll talk the National Hockey League. The Preds get a big win on the ice, as we said earlier, against the Blues. So we got lots to cover here. My man, of course, NASCAR moves on to Richmond after I felt like one of the better races we've seen in a long time at Bristol Motor Speedway. And yes, it rained, and yes, we can't control the. Let me get on my soapbox before I go to the break. The social media is burning Bristol Motor Speedway up. Let me let you in a little theological lesson here real quick. Bristol Motor Speedway has nothing to do with the weather. That would be run by the King of Kings. He runs the weather. Bristol, but they're getting beat up. What rained again in Bristol? It's like it's the Speedway's fault. You know, come on now. So anyway, we had some rain. Once we got on the track on Saturday, had some great racing. Obviously, with Eric Jones taking the Xfinity Series race, Harrison Burton, Jeff Burton's son, winning the K&N Pro Series, the Zombie Auto 125, and then of course on Monday had the opportunity to interview a very classy Jimmy Johnson as he won with the Lowe's Chevrolet for the Food City 500. So having said all that, caps on, Bass Pro Shop NRA night race for August, phones ringing off the hook at Bristol. Everybody wants to have a ticket to watch Dale Earnhardt Jr. race for his final time at Bristol for the night race, and we'll talk to Carmichael about that and more coming up. Who would be the possible replacements in the seat for Dale Jr.? That's an interesting, been reading some of the national folks and just kind of getting kind of an unofficial survey of some of my buddies. It's interesting who they think may be in that seat coming up for 2017, replacing the legendary Dale Earnhardt Jr. Quick break, we'll be right back. He's here, he's ready, he's our buddy Carmichael. A plethora of information. He joins us next on show number 506. I love it. They said it wouldn't work at the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447. If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Back on the Tom Douglas Sports Show. Thanks for being with us. We're live here at Champion Chevrolet, the home of Tim Copenhaver and Andy Dietrich and all these great folks in here to make this go. And love coming over every week. It is an honor to be in this showroom every Thursday. And I mean that because it's the #1 Chevy dealership in the state. So to hang out with quality folks like Tim Copenhaver and Andy Dietrich, man, I love hanging out with these guys. They're top shelf. That's why they're the #1 dealership in the state, and it's an honor. I know it sounds cheesy, but it's true. It's an honor to be here every Thursday to hang out with these folks and talk about their great products. If you missed it earlier, Andy said the trucks that went around Bristol Motor Speedway, the ride of a lifetime, those trucks are back here. Of course, Bristol Motor Speedway proudly is a Chevrolet track, and so those trucks that carried all those NASCAR drivers around for the ride of a lifetime, the driver intros, are now back here and for sale, and can, as Andy said, can make you a great deal and get a little discount because they're slightly used, because they were used very slightly, obviously, at Bristol Motor Speedway. Also, an Equinox is up there over the weekend and a Corvette. And so those vehicles, and I'll get the particulars when Andy gets back so I can tell you more about that tomorrow, our live broadcast at Food City in Clinchfield for the Midnight Madness sale. But on camera, he's there, our buddy David Carmichael with the Johnson City Parks and Rec. Good afternoon, sir. How you doing?
I am doing great on this cloudy Thursday afternoon. This is like the last thing as a park and recreation athletic manager I want to see today, because we've went through I'm still working on reschedules from soccer matches from over the weekend and the first of the week.
Never thought of that. So I know it's in the wintertime you have snow cancellations for basketball, but soccer and baseball gets washed out, so you're on the phone. I mean, I guess that's just unbelievable how you got to get all the coaches and they got to get all the kids, and it's.
We do with the cancellations. We do two things. One, we have a text alert system now that you sign up for each sport. We send out a text alert that says the games have been canceled. But I'm the old-fashioned kind of person, and I want to make sure that coach has actually been notified of the cancellation, because the last thing you want to have is coach with 20 kids, little 3, 4, 5-year-old soccer players showing up at Civitan Park with it completely underwater on a Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. It's the last thing you want to hear.
Sure.
So we make sure not only do we send the text alert out, the coaches get it, the parents get it, but we call the coach, hey, coach, we're not playing today. We'll have your rescheduled game here next couple of days.
How many soccer teams do you have right now?
In the spring, we have 70 soccer teams, 975 children playing spring soccer.
Wow.
And then we have over 1,200 that play in the fall.
So you start making phone calls and canceling game from here. We're going to play tomorrow at this time. And so, yes, that's a huge undertaking. This guy does it as good as anybody. He and the recently named James Ellis, they do a fantastic job. How many employees you have in the Parks and Rec? I don't know if I've ever asked you that.
We probably, if you count seasonal and full-time, part-time, we're 100, especially this time of year, 150 to 200 employees. We did our first job fair this past Tuesday night down at the Memorial Park Community Center. I think it was a success. We had probably 60 or 65 applicants come through, talked to all of the divisions, not only in Park and Recreation, but also talked to the police department. They were looking for the Explorer division, and looking at some good applicants for our seasonal work, because we have a lot of seasonal positions open, from anything from umpiring a softball game or keeping score for softball, to being a lifeguard, to working on camps, to going out and mowing and fixing ball fields. So we're taking applications right now all over the department for seasonal jobs like that.
Runs the gamut. So if you're interested, how do you get them?
You can go on www.myjcparks.org. There will be some information there, or you can give us a call at any of our, especially in athletics, 283-5822, and we'll be happy to put you in touch with any of the divisions that you're interested in looking for a job.
Tom Taylor Sports Show number 506. They said it wouldn't work. I still get told that. I said, it's not going to last. I said, okay, it may not last, but as long as the Lord's hand's on it, it's number 506, so we're still rolling. So,
and you're not working for ESPN today?
No, not. There's a whole lot less working for ESPN. What do you? Well, that's a good way to start this thing. What do you think about? They let 100 employees go from ESPN. They said they've lost 10 million subscribers over the last 6 years. 10 million. Holy smokes! I don't know where they're going. And maybe Facebook.
They're cut. And here's the thing: people are cutting cords on TVs because cable television is so expensive. Trust me, I know. And you're getting less product for what you're actually paying for. In our cable system over in Black Mountain, we've lost channels. I've lost like the NHL channel, several other sports channels I had that went up to a higher tier, raising the prices on the cable. So a lot of people just have said, you know what, we're getting rid of cable. So ESPN has lost a lot of people due to that. They also have paid so much in rights for telecasting events and telecasting different things that they can't, you have to charge. You pay this much for this particular event. Now you've got to pass that cost along to the cable customers. Well, cable customers are cutting the cord. It's a domino effect. And I think eventually they're going to have to find a niche and find, maybe instead of trying to do every sport events, they're going to have to say, okay, what do we do best? Is it basketball? Is it football? And really concentrate primarily on those particular events and just let everything else go. They had 100 people. These people that were fired or let go yesterday were, especially like Ed Werder, been on air for years with them, as Jason Stark, Major League Baseball, great writers along with performers. Danny Cannell, one of their new college guys that they were grooming, and also on their radio network. Some people are taking reduced roles in the network. But a lot of people, especially on the writing part of it, were let go yesterday. And they gutted their hockey. They gut like 3 of their big best writers in hockey let go yesterday. And John Buccigross's contract, who is their number 1 hockey guy, it expires in July, and there's talk that they're not going to renew that. So they're having to see, well, you know, NBCSN does a lot of hockey, NHL Network does a lot of hockey. We can let that go. You know, NASCAR, Dr. Jerry Punch, one of the classiest, 30 years, told last night, tweeted out, it's been an honor and a pleasure to work here and work college football. And I would think NBCSN or Fox would be fools today, this morning at 9 o'clock, not to be picking that phone up and calling Dr. Jerry Punch.
So until then, watch the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
Yes.
We got guys like Carmichael on there, and we got some more like Pat Patterson tomorrow from the Performance Racing Network is going to be on the show. So we mix a little local, a little regional, a little out of town. A little bit later on this show today, we'll hear from Kevin Harmon about the University of Tennessee football update, talking about the draft, and Derek Barnett and Joshua Dobbs. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we're going to be joined by Chip Pratt from WLW in Cincinnati. We got him down here last weekend, got him tickets and brought him down here, he and his family, and they watched Bristol Motor Speedway racing for the first time. So I thought it'd be cool to call him up and get the bird's eye response and view from Chip about what he thought about Bristol and about the Tri-Cities. We're going to do that at the bottom of the hour. Speaking of NASCAR, Carmichael's here, got lots to cover. Here we go. Hang on. We're going to hit a lot of different topics while we got him here. Let's start with NASCAR. Jimmie Johnson picks up his second win at Bristol. Dominating performance. Held off some great drivers. Thought it was some great racing. And, of course, they move on to Bristol. He's got 2 wins under his belt, or I should say move on to Richmond, having won Texas and Bristol back-to-back. And of course, the big news, Dale Jr. announcing his retirement. And so it's got an immediate ripple effect in the sport. And so what's your take on A, the Bristol race with Jimmie Johnson, and B, Junior stepping away from the sport?
I think with Jimmy's, it just showed. I mean, he is really, the last few weeks, has really rounded in the form after some early, struggles very early in the year. Right now, he is the best driver in the sport. I mean, hands down. I mean, you've got the young guns that are chasing him, but I don't know anybody that has the whole package. Jimmie Johnson not only is a great driver, great team, great crew chief. I mean, everything. That is just, and he's the only driver that really focuses on racing the Cup races. He's the only. Everybody else tries to do too much. Either, well, we're going to drive Xfinity races, or we're going to own trucks, or we're going to do this, that, and the other. He focuses on driving that car on Sunday afternoons or Saturday evenings, and that's it. That's his sole focus. And I think that's what makes him the champion he is today. And you would think he's won 8 championships in over like a 12 or 13 year period. You would think it's like any other sport. When a team wins, people start copycatting it. Why wouldn't you would think some NASCAR drivers would think, wait a minute, if that's how he does it, maybe we should do it that way.
Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Exactly.
Back off and, of course, just drive the races that matter. If he wins, he's won 82. If he wins, his next win will tie him with his boyhood hero, Kel Yarborough. So Jimmie Johnson heading off to Richmond is currently 6th in points. And, again, your top 10 goes Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr., Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, Jimmie Johnson, Jamie McMurray, Clint Boyer, Kevin Harvick, and Ryan Blaney are the top 10 right now heading off to Richmond International Raceway. Junior steps away. Your thoughts on that, and who do you think could be a possible replacement in the 88 car?
Well, I think there's never going to be anybody to actually replace him. They're going to take the seat, but there will never be anybody to replace him. You would think Alex Bowman probably in the short term would be somebody that Hendrick would put in the car. He ran for Junior last year in some of the end of the season races when Dale was out with the concussions. I know Hendrick, we were talking about, has a young driver signed, and I would think he's probably more than a year away. I would think maybe Alex Bowman's the stopgap to get you there, and maybe Alex Bowman is auditioning for, as we talked about a couple of weeks ago, Casey Kane's seat.
I think this whole story, again, if you're not familiar with NASCAR, there's four drivers in Rick Hendrick Motorsports camp. Jimmie Johnson, 7-time champion. Chase Elliott, the up-and-coming face of NASCAR. Those guys are set. You got Junior stepping away from the ride, as we said. And the fourth guy is Casey Kane in that Great Clips Chevrolet, so who is underperforming, to say the least. I think what this does for him, I could be wrong, been wrong before, I think this may buy him more time, because the focal point is to get the right person in the 88 seat. I don't think they're going. They may do a double bang and say, okay, you're gone. We're going to put we're going to make a move at the same time. But I think it may give Kane a little bit more time, maybe another year, because they've got to get the right person in that 88 machine. Could it be William Byron, as Carmichael alluded to? Could it be, how about a Kyle Larson? They'll lure him away or woo him away from Chip Ganassi Racing with a big checkbook, because Hendrick's got the money. If he wants to get who he wants to get, they'll go after him. William Byron, Chris Buescher's a possibility. There you look at another guy currently in the series, Martin Truex Jr., or even Eric Jones, the young man from Furniture Row Racing. That's another possibility.
And the Eric Jones situation is with Gibbs, and that's the pressure with Gibbs, because Matt Kenseth is nearing the end of his contract. Mm-hmm. There have been rumblings about Matt Kenseth's retirement.
Yep.
Eric Jones has been loaned out from Gibbs to Furniture Row this year, like a little soccer deal where they loan players out. And, and I'm thinking Joe Gibbs is wanting to get Eric Jones back to Joe Gibbs Racing as quick as he can, but he's not really wanting to push Matt Kenseth out the seat. Now, all these dominoes, and this could be an interesting thought at the end of the year, too. Say Jimmy Johnson wins the 8th championship.
He rides off in the sunset.
I think, and you talk about a big hit NASCAR. In a 12-month period, you will have Jeff Gordon racing his last race.
I said this is history.
Tony Stewart racing his last race. Carl Edwards racing his last race. Dale Jr. and possibly Jimmy Johnson.
Said the same thing.
It would be. You talk about it's going to be devastating with Junior. You're going to see. When he runs that last race, it will be next year at NASCAR races. It'll be interesting to see the crowds.
Said that just yesterday on the show. I've said it off the air, said on the air. You've lost Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, and now Dale Jr. in the last 16, 18 months.
And Carl Edwards.
And Edwards. There's nobody out there who has the star power, those four guys, any of them individually, and certainly not collectively. So NASCAR's got to find some new stars, if you will. And there's a bumper crop of them coming up, but they've got to find them, develop them. Obviously, the face right now would be Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, and probably Ryan Blaney, but we'll see. So NASCAR heads off to Richmond this week. Again, they've got the Xfinity Series and also the Cup Series. We will talk to, by the way, the defending champ of that race is not in the circuit now. Carl Edwards won the pole and won the race a year ago, so they'll crown a new pole setter and a new winner coming up at Richmond this weekend, and we'll talk more with Pat Patterson about that tomorrow. And that will be live from Richmond, the Performance Racing Network, the team that's broadcasting the race this week, so we'll hear from him coming up tomorrow live from Richmond.
And then Junior's thing now, who's feeling pressure now? I tell you, two guys, Darrell Waltrip, Jeff Burton.
Yeah.
Because that those both networks are going to throw money at Junior, and if he wants, the job is his if he wants it. Well, okay, if he goes to Fox, he's not bumping Gordon now. You're not going to have a 4-person race booth.
No.
Three really stretches it.
He'll make more money in the booth, or as much money in the booth, Dale Jr., than he ever did driving a race car. And the guy, why would you not? You'd go after him and say yes. Michael Waltrip and probably Jeff Burton or some of these guys in the TV booth, former NASCAR drivers, one of them's going to be in trouble because they will go get Junior, and he's already been in the broadcast booth a couple of times, said he was a little uneasy about it but liked it. So once they polish him up a little bit, look out.
And if he's with NBC, they're going to probably keep Steve Letarte because that was his crew chief. So you've already got the dynamics of the two guys working there. So Jeff Burton and Darrell Waltrip, it could change because then you may shift Darrell Waltrip to the pregame show, bring Junior in with Gordon, or you might even bring Junior into the pregame show. You've got that possibility, but I think he would do the races. I don't think he's more of a pregame show thing. If they're going to pay him that kind of money, he's going to be working the races.
All speculation, but yes, I would think Earnhardt Jr. will end up in the broadcast booth next year before it's all said and done. We're live here at Champion Chevrolet, the official car of Bristol Motor Speedway. The Bow Ties won it again for the 23rd time in the spring on Monday. Jimmy Johnson brought home the checkers, of course. They've won now about 45 races. The number one manufacturer to win at Bristol Motor Speedway is Chevrolet, and so they'll try it again coming up in the fall with the Bass Pro Shop NRA night race. Let's switch gears. David Carmichael's with us. We got hockey and basketball to talk about. We got to squeeze that out before we go to the bottom of the hour break, and we got to get Chip Pratt in. He'll join us live from WLW in Cincinnati, the big one, AM 700, and we're looking forward to talking to Chip about the Reds and the Bengals and whatever's going on up in Cincinnati. We've got a pretty good pocket of viewers and followers now in Cincinnati, and we appreciate that very much. Carmichael NFL Draft tonight. I'm going to throw out some names here for you and tell me if any of these could be a possible number one draft pick in the NFL. Reuben Foster, Alabama. Leonard Fournette, LSU. Mike Williams, Clemson. Christian McCaffrey, Stanford. Jamal Adams, LSU. Marshawn Latimer, Ohio State. Jonathan Allen, Alabama. Solomon Thomas, Stanford. Myles Garrett, Texas A&M, or Malik Hooker of Ohio State. These guys are the ones that I keep hearing are going to be the most sought after in the NFL draft that starts tonight. So what's your take? Who do you think will go number one?
I think Garrett's one. I think I just think they're going with him at the defensive line. I think, and then after that, it is a proverbial crapshoot because I've seen every kind of draft board. The only solid one I've seen here in the last 2 or 3 days is Christian McCaffrey to the Panthers.
Yeah,
that has been pretty much the Panthers look like at that pick 8 are going to go running back, and I think McCaffrey's the safe pick because you can play him. He's not your prototype running back that's going to take it 25, 30 times a game running the ball. You're only running maybe 15 times a game. You're going to line him up in the slot. You're going to throw passes to him, get him 25 or 30 touches in and out of the backfield. But everybody else, I mean, the Titans, locally, the Titans are looking for defensive line help, linebackers, and wide receivers. Mike Williams has been the name linked to them at either 5 or 18. I don't think they're going to make any trades. Quarterbacks, several teams in the draft need quarterbacks. You've got the kid from North Carolina. You've got Deshaun Watson from Clemson. You've got Pat Mahomes from Texas Tech. Davis Webb from California has come back to the first round here in the last few days. A lot of teams are impressed with him. The guy who's really been climbing as far as quarterback has been the kid from Tennessee, Josh Dobbs. His stock has risen dramatically the last probably week and a half. I think a lot of teams maybe see him as a Dak Prescott type quarterback.
We're live here again, Champion Chevrolet. We're talking to Carmichael on camera, of course, the Johnson City Parks and Rec. Tom Taylor Sports Show broadcasting live from the number one Chevy dealer in the state. And there's a reason for that. It's called customer service. They do it like nobody else, and we appreciate them very much. Again, it's an honor to be here every Thursday talking sports with anybody and the folks that we line up, not anybody, but the folks who line up come in and hang out with us. And Carmichael's a regular virtually every Thursday. So NFL draft, it's interesting what I'm looking at. Myles Garrett is a defensive end from Texas A&M. Foster, linebacker, Alabama. In fact, out of these top 10, and this is just a top 10 that I've kind of put together, doesn't mean it's the gospel, the absolute, but out of these top 10, 6 or 7 are defensive players. You have a running back, Fournette, a wide receiver, Williams, a running back, McCaffrey, as you said. Everybody else on this top 10 list are all defensive players. So having said that, do you see a shift this year in the draft? Normally it's an offensive minded. This is a defensive draft.
This is a defensive draft, and people are licking their chops. That's why the Richard Sherman trade talked about trading Richard Sherman for the last few weeks. Well, there's not been a great interest in Richard Sherman because there are so many cornerbacks in this draft, especially in the first couple of rounds. You may have as many as 8 corners taken early. And so teams are like, well, why do we want to mess with and have to renegotiate his contract when we can take a rookie and bring him in and pay him a lot less than what we're having to pay Richard Sherman? So it's defensive draft all over the place. Most of the teams, unless you are absolutely have to have a quarterback or a running back, wide receiver, it'll be very few offensive players the first 2 rounds.
Are they missing? See, this top 10 did not include Derek Barnett. I think this guy's a gamer. I think he's going to make somebody an outstanding football player. Are they missing the boat by not including this kid in the top 10?
I think he's top 10. I think he will eventually end up somewhere in that 9 to 11 or 12 range, right there in that range. I don't think he'll go earlier than 8, which is Carolina, but I think he's in that 9 to 11 range.
We're talking again to David Carmichael. We're live at Champion Chevrolet NFL Draft, and so it starts tonight. We'll have a rundown for you after night number 1 tomorrow. We'll be at Food City in Kingsport for the Midnight Madness sale on Clinchfield Street, so we'll have a pretty good idea of how things are going after the first 3 rounds tonight, I believe is what goes. Maybe a little bit more, but we'll have an idea of who goes where after tonight's event unfolds for the NFL Draft. Carmichael, NBA, National Hockey League. We've got a few minutes left. We've got to get Chip Pratt on from Cincinnati. Kevin Harmon's going to join us live for UT Sports Report. NBA, let's take a look. Last night, Washington beat Atlanta 103-99. Wizards lead that series best of 7, 3-2. Boston beat Chicago, beat the Bulls by, 11, 108-97. So Boston leads that best of 7, 3-2. What's your take on those two as they play tomorrow night?
Well, it's helped that Rondo has been out for the Bulls, and they've had to play just street guys, basically, at point guard for the last 3 games. Boston finally straightened themselves out. Looks like they're going to win that playoff series. Same thing with the Wizards, even though Game 6 in Atlanta will be tough. They struggle in Atlanta, games 3 and 4. I think in the East, it's still Cleveland. I don't think anybody, these teams are playing to see who's going to play Cleveland in the championship of the Eastern Conference. Same thing in the West. Golden State, they can have Durant out, they can have Steve Kerr out, they can have everybody, it seems like, out, but as long as they've got Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, they're good to go.
Tonight we got Toronto, Milwaukee. The road teams lead the best of 7, 3-2. Raptors in Milwaukee against the Bucks. Toronto leads at 3-2, and my boys, the San Antonio Spurs, will be in Memphis. There's Memphis, baby. Well, I don't know why I do that every time. I guess because of Elvis, and I'm terrible at it, but there's Memphis, baby. Oh, this is Elvis. San Antonio and Memphis against the Grizzlies made myself laugh. Road teams a 3-2 lead in the best of 7. Can the Spurs finish it off tonight? Can the Raptors finish it off tonight?
The Raptors can, and they should. Playing much better. I think tonight San Antonio puts the dagger through the Grizzlies and ends that series.
Gets ready for the Houston Rockets. National Hockey League. How about the Predators? Went to St. Louis. Nobody's giving this team a chance. They sweep the Blackhawks. They go to St. Louis and beat the pretty good Blues team on their ice 4-3. They lead the best of 7, 1-0. Edmonton skates past Anaheim last night 5-3. Tonight the Rangers in Ottawa. In Ottawa for the first of that best of 7, and maybe the best series of all, the Penguins on the ice, the defending Stanley Cups against the President's Cup trophy winner from this year, the Washington Capitals. They'll start that series tonight. What's your take on the Stanley Cup right now?
Well, the Predators, I mean, nobody has given them any credit, but yet they have looked to me, and it's just I know I'm biased, but they have looked the best of any team in this playoff run. I mean, when you beat the Chicago Blackhawks, the best team of the last decade, sweep them. When you do that and outplayed Chicago really in every game except for just a few minutes in Game 3, Nashville is on a roll. And, I mean, even getting the game-winning goal last night by an old player like Vern Fiddler, like a 36, 37-year-old player that they picked up at the trade deadline just to give him some depth, sticks in a goal and able to win that game. I look for Nashville to get to the conference finals and maybe get to the Cup finals this year. Yeah. Washington, Pittsburgh, I think, is going to tell you who wins the East. I don't think Ottawa or the Rangers would be able to win. Anaheim lost last night. The 2 games were similar. Both teams built up 3-1 leads. The other team, the team that was losing, came back, tied the game. Nashville scores late. Anaheim scores Edmonton scores 5-6 minutes to go and then gets an empty netter late in the game for that difference. But both games were very similar last night.
Before I let you go, we're talking to David Carmichael. Things going on at the Johnson City Parks and Rec. By the way, hello to Bart Lyons, who watches every day. Thank you, Bart. And also, hello, I should say, to Orlando Neal in Cincinnati. We're getting a big pocket of viewers up there in Cincinnati and listeners. We appreciate that. So Orlando Neal just sent me, said he's listening to the show. Thank you, sir, up in the Queen City of Cincinnati, Ohio.
And also got Votto.
Yeah, we've got a pretty good pocket of folks, not only here local, but also back home where I'm from in West Virginia. More and more my kinfolk and classmates and folks are finding out we're doing the show down here and found out we're doing the Speedway announcing. So hello to the hills of West Virginia as well. That's pretty cool as well. Carmichael, Johnson City Parks and Rec, what's going on?
Got a few things going on. Next Friday night dance will be Lightning Charlie, local blues rock and roll guy. It's going to be at the Memorial Park Community Center. It's the senior dance they do once a month. 7 to 10 o'clock, it's $5 for tickets. If you're in the Silver Sneakers program, there's discounts for that. You can either pay for tickets in person or pay that night at the Memorial Park Community Center.
Lightning Charlie.
Lightning Charlie can do it. He taught B.B. King the blues.
Oh yes, he can. Love me some blues. Old Lightning Charlie, he can do it.
He can pick it like Joey Votto at first base on a rainy night in Cincinnati.
What else going on?
Mother's Day Tea will be going on next Saturday, May 6th. It's from 10 to 11 o'clock at the Memorial Park Community Center. Ages 3 to 12 with their mothers. Welcome. Light refreshments served. It's $5. Registration is required, so if you want to do that, 434-5749 for registration for Mother's Day Tea. On May 9th, the Candyland Carnival It's welcome to all ages, free hot dogs to the first 200 people, outdoor games, music, snacks, face painting. There's going to be movie time then later on in the evening at the green space at the amphitheater behind Memorial Park. For more information about that, also 434-5749. And our camp program, we got teen camps coming up in July 17th to 21st for both of them. One is the Adventure Quest Camp. It's $60 for campers. It's ages 13 to 17, but they'll do stuff like going exploring caves, building survival shelters, doing a fish hatchery, swim, go river rafting, and more. And also that same week, there's a volunteer camp. A lot of high school students have to have volunteer hours, so this is a perfect example to do. It's something to do that. It's $35 for the campers. They're going to work at sites as the Second Harvest Food Bank, the Habitat for Humanity, Jacobs Nature Park, and several other campers. You'll get 40 hours of volunteer work, and that really is, to me, that would be worth the $35 to sign up for the camp to get my 40 hours in to help with graduation and everything. For more information about that, you can go to www.myjcparks.org, or you can go to Memorial Park Community Center. They have all the camps. Not only do we have the teen camps, but we have summer youth camps and different sports, different arts and crafts, just different day camps there. They have more information about that at Memorial Park. Like I said, www.myjcparks.org, or call 434-5749.
There you go. Great
Yes,
job,
sir.
my friend, as always. My man Carmichael. Missing next week. Got some things going on. You'll see you in 2 weeks, right?
See you in 2 weeks.
Good man right there. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. We are live here again at Champion Chevrolet in the Bristol Motor Mile, Johnson City. Coming up next, we'll go to Cincinnati by phone, talk to Chip Pratt from WLW in Cincinnati. He joins us next here live from the Champion Chevrolet showroom on the Bristol Motor Mile, Johnson City, on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447. If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been put...
And we're back live again on the Tom Taylor Sports Show number 506. Thanks for being with us. Let's go to the phone. He's there. I'm in Bristol, Tennessee. He's in Cincinnati, Ohio. Chip Pratt from WLW Radio, the big one, AM 700. Good afternoon, Chip Pratt. How you doing, my friend?
Doing great, Tommy Taylor. How are you? Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, yeah, man. I loved it. I made friends with this gentleman. We contribute to the station up there from time to time, and a couple of stations there in the radio camp. So tell us a little bit about, before we get into matters at hand, tell us a little bit about AM 700. Folks down here may not know. They can hear that station down here. Tell us about it, would you please?
Yes, you can. It's nicknamed, not only nicknamed the big one, but also nicknamed the Nation Station. It's the oldest station. It's actually the first radio station in Cincinnati, and probably in the eastern side of the country. Formed in 1922, and originally started off as 500,000 watts. You could originally, during the World War II days, you could pick it up in like Germany and overseas, and then shortly after World War II, they shrunk it down to 50,000 watts. But we can be heard in 38 states late at night. We are a cleared channel station owned by iHeartMedia, and I tell you what, it's a great station to work for. Been with them for about 9 years now, and I'm also on Saturday nights on sister station 55 KRC with our friend Dave Martin from Run the Way with Dave. So it's a great company to work for, and it has been an honor to meet you, and it was an honor to meet with you this weekend at Bristol.
Well, I appreciate that very much. We had a big time. I said, let's bring you down and get you some tickets to come to Bristol Motor Speedway, and you did. By the way, just for radio trivia purposes, anytime you see a radio station with just 3 call letters, that's one of the original stations in the country. Thus, WLW,
correct.
One of the originals, again, since the 1920s, and when I get a chance to be on the show on the weekends on the radio station, it covers 38 states. I'm very honored to be a part of that, to help contribute to their programming with some NASCAR news from down here. So you came, you brought the missus, you brought your buddy, and tell us about you coming to Bristol Motor Speedway, your first time ever in Tennessee, and first time at Bristol Motor Speedway. What'd you think?
I tell you what, Tom, going into it, and this is coming from somebody that, kind of followed NASCAR. I never really got into it. I could, before this past Sunday, or this past Monday rather, I could give you a list of names of drivers. I could tell you, who everybody from Dale Jr. to, Joey Logano, and even those who are retired, Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin. I could give you a list of names, but if you ask me who they drive for, if you ask me what number they are, if you ask me what car they're, I couldn't tell you. But I got to tell you, when we first got to chatting, and when you started first coming on one of the shows that I produced, and you're like, hey, you ever interested in coming down to Bristol? You ought to check it out. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And I took your offer up, and with my wife and a couple that came down, Mike and Kara, and it was a great time. It really was, and it is so different. And my friend Mike said this when we were leaving Bristol Monday. It is so different. There's two totally different things from watching it on TV and hearing it on the radio and seeing it in person. I mean, yeah, people say, well, you can just watch it on TV. I mean, yeah, but you got to experience it firsthand. It's kind of like, I know this is a silly comparison, but it's kind of like with me. I'm a golf guy. I would rather I would rather play golf or watch it in person than watch it on TV. Same thing goes for tennis. Same thing goes for football. Like, it's just a totally different, animal itself. And I tell you what, it was. There's no greater experience than going to my first race, which was down in Bristol in your neck of the woods. And I got to tell you, man, it was a great time. And I'll even go further by saying when you get your ticket scanned and you walk in to Bristol, and you're going past the concessions, and going past the restrooms, you're walking up those stairs trying to get out of what I call out of the tunnel. Once you first like come out of that tunnel and you look and you see everything in front of you, it's like, man, this is cool. This is so cool. And it was just really neat, man. I mean, it's experience like no other. And for those of you who have never been to a race, I would definitely challenge you to, at least go to one race in your life. I mean, Bristol is the place to go.
Well put. Our buddy Chip Pratt, again, he was in turn 4, the Waltrip section, so he saw the cars coming. So, again, Rusty Wallace compares it, says it's 43 cars, in this case 39 cars, Monday, going around 120 miles an hour like the top of a cereal bowl at 120 miles an hour. Again, try and put into words what you saw there in turn 4. Cars coming your way, coming through your turn, and going back down the front stretch. Again, it's kind of hard to explain, but being a first-timer, try to simulate what you saw with all these cars and the speeds they have at Bristol.
Man, I tell you, it's really amazing. And those those headphones, when I hear from you and some of these others, like, make sure you bring headphones, make sure you bring them. And I tell you what, boy, were you guys right, because when those cars are coming, first you the pace car, going around 3 times, and finally that pace car goes, you don't see it anymore, and then those cars just take off. And I mean, they take off, and they're zooming around at whatever miles an hour, and then they're coming straight towards you, and the faster they go, the louder they come, and I mean, it is just really cool. I mean, it was. I look over at my buddy Mike. I'm like, it's awesome. I mean, it is awesome.
When I met you guys, I thought your wives were really cool too. In fact, your wife was not. She's like, well, who am I going to root for? And your Mike's wife said, be sure and go with Clint Boyer. So I wasn't there, but I'm assuming the wives got into it, didn't they?
Yes, she did. Especially our friend, our friends Mike and Kara came with us. They are. Definitely NASCAR fans, and when Kara first met Mike, she wasn't really into it, and then she started going. I think she had told me she went to like more than like 10 races. I think maybe 20 races, and they've been together 6 or 7 years. And I'm like, holy moly! And my wife, we were first timers, and it's an amazing experience, Tom. And it's just like I said earlier, I challenge people, if you haven't been to a race, it doesn't matter if it's Kentucky Speedway or Bristol. Go to a race, check it out yourself. Watching it on TV is one thing, and hearing it on the radio is one thing, but seeing it in person, it's breathtaking. It is just amazing. It doesn't even really matter where you sit. You could sit at the nosebleed section, you could sit up front, but just seeing that in front of you, it's for some people, it's a once in a lifetime experience.
It's not just another race. It's Bristol, baby. Again, we're talking to Chip Pratt. So here's the $100,000 question. Chip, do you want to come back in August to the fall race?
Absolutely. No question. Absolutely.
In.
I was, I am in, brother, and I'm in like Flynn, and I'm definitely coming down in August with the wife and Mike and Kara, and we will be back down there for the night race, because I would definitely want to check out the night race.
I'll make that happen for you. So that's our buddy Chip Pratt from WLW in Cincinnati. Hey, tell me what's going on. The NFL draft starts tonight. Again, you're up there around the pulse of the Cincinnati Bengals. What are the Bengals looking for? What do they need? What do you feel like they're going to do for the NFL draft?
Well, Tommy, right now the Bengals, as Tom mentioned, tonight is the NFL draft. The Bengals are looking at acquiring 2 guys, serious prospects, a guy named John Ross and Jonathan Allen. And we're going to see where that goes, because as of right now, we're tonight with the draft, we're going to see if they're going to be acquired. Because looking at their background, I mean, they're pretty good. They would be pretty good picks for the team. And looking back at the Bengals' record, I mean, 2 years ago compared to last season are two totally different animals. I mean, you look at the Bengals 2 years ago, they weren't that good, and last year they really made a comeback. I think I could be mistaken, but I think they made it to the first round of the playoffs last year, which, you know what, making it to the playoffs, even if it's the first round, is better than not making it at all. So we're going to see how the Bengals do and what happens tonight with the draft between John Ross and Jonathan Allen, see if they get acquired. And then, of course, our Cincinnati Reds are in St. Louis, taking on the Cardinals. And this is, of course, after they lost 3 in a row to the Brewers this past week.
There you go. They got swept by the Brewers, heading off to St. Louis for that weekend series for the Cardinals starting tomorrow night. So, going to be interesting.
Unbelievable.
Yep. Chip Pratt, WLW, I know you got to get going. I appreciate you very much. We'll have you back on soon. Thank you for coming to Bristol. Thank you for the great first-hand report. I'm glad you and your wife and Mike and Carrie had a good time. So we'll get you tickets for Bristol in the fall. And, hey, I'll talk to you soon, all right?
All right, Tommy. Thanks, buddy. Always a pleasure.
Yes, sir. Good man right there, our buddy Chip Pratt from WLW in Cincinnati. Appreciate that very much. And, of course, it's an honor for me to contribute to their show every weekend. That radio station covers 38 states. The big one, AM 700, WLW. I'm on there every Friday or every Saturday night, I should say, talking NASCAR. So very nice. Appreciate that very much. Quick break. We'll be right back. Look right here. This guy, look at him. He just oozes knowledge. Look at that big grin, like a fox in the hen house. That's our buddy Kevin Harmon. He's going to join us next. He's going to talk to us about the Tennessee football team, the orange-white game, NFL draft, and more. Also waiting in the wings, Steve McCauley from the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. He joins us as well. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. We're live at Champion Chevrolet. As we go to the break, here's what Tim told me. All the trucks they used again at Bristol Motor Speedway will come with an extra discount because they were event vehicles from the track. There are Silverado 1500 Crew Cab half-ton 4x4s, 6.2 liter. There's 13 of those. Of course, you had, the ride of a lifetime. All the drivers that participated were 21 or 22 out of the 39 drivers did this. So Silverado 2500 Crew Cab 4x4 diesels, LTZs, there's 8 of those. Again, all of these will come with an extra discount because they were used, as we said, slightly used, and simply all they did is drove them to Bristol, which is about, 10-12 miles from here. Drove them around the track on Monday with the drivers in the back of each driver had an individual truck. They're not all one truck. Each driver had a truck and a fan that bid on the opportunity to ride with them, which was really cool. And one of the ladies, I don't care to tell you, I guess it was, maybe, let's see, which one was it? Maybe Danica Patrick. Because Danica Patrick got up in the car and she just had a meltdown, started crying, and said she'd been waiting all of her life to meet Danica Patrick. Had pictures taken with us. It was really cool. Bristol's all about making memories. So these trucks are back here now because Chevrolet's in Bristol Motor Speedway is a Chevrolet track. So these trucks are back here at Champion Chevrolet, and they're on sale with an extra discount because they were used as event vehicles at Bristol Motor Speedway. Quick break. We'll be right back. We'll be joined by my buddy. That would be Kevin Harmon. We'll see what he got to say about everything coming up, the NFL draft, orange-white practice, finished up Tennessee football, all that and more. Come back with us at Champion Chevrolet, show number 506 of the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the things that owner Tim Smith is most proud of is their hard-earned certifications.
We are an ASE Blue Seal shop, which is important because what it tells the customer is we care enough to get certified, not in one certain area of cars. You have to be certified in 8 different certifications, in 8 different tests you have to take, and you have to be updated on them yearly to make sure that you're up to date. We not only have one of those, we have 3 ASE Master Technicians here. With the ratio, it goes into a ratio, and we're a Blue Seal shop, so it tells you that we care about training and we care about knowing about your car. We want to help fix it right.
American Import Auto Repair, West Market Street, Johnson City, home of the free loaner car program. Open 6 days a week. Call today, 913-3111.
Hi, I'm Rob Cole with Bays Mountain Park. There's something for everyone at Bays Mountain Park. Whether you're an outdoor enthusiast or simply looking to get away and relax, Bays Mountain Park in Kingsport, Tennessee is the perfect destination. For only $4 per vehicle, enjoy 3,500 acres of breathtaking scenery, featuring 40 miles of hiking trails, wildlife habitats, one of the Southeast's premier planetariums, and much, much more. For more information, please visit www.baysmountain.com or call us at 423-229-9447. Bays Mountain Park, one of the Tri-City's best places for learning, leisure, and recreation.
If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
Back live with the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us. We is here at Champion Chevrolet in the Bristol Motor Mile, Johnson City, in the showroom of the #1 Tennessee dealership, or #1 Chevrolet dealership in Tennessee, I should say. See, I just get excited when Harmon shows up. I got Steve McCauley back here going to talk about the Lord, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I'm all about it. Again, our verse of the day, Jeremiah 33:3 says, "Call unto me, and I will answer you and tell you great and unsearchable things that you do not know." That's the verse of the day. We always dedicate this show to the Lord, and so Fellowship of Christian Athletes, he's coming in a few minutes, and I can get up and go order pizza and come back. You'll still be going. That's my man. I love Steve McCauley, great guy. I love Kevin Harmon. We go back. How many years have we known each other, big dog?
16.
You say that painfully.
No, I was trying to calculate in my mind.
I'm excited to see. It's like, God, 16, I guess.
Moved here in 2001. This is 2017. So
16 years we've been buddies. Love this guy. Of course,
16 years. That is wild.
Oh, yeah. 16 years, and he's a great gentleman and very knowledgeable about sports, and in particular, University of Tennessee, UT Sports Reports, what we got going on here. So let's jump in and go. Hold that. There you go. I want you to be the Vanna the whole time. Put that now. I want you to turn it. Let's see. I'm going to get out of the picture. They don't need to see me. Then we'll see you. There you go. There he is. Just hold that the whole time. Orange. Here. Remember how the Barker's Beauties did that Price Right?
Yeah.
You could win this.
Door number 3. What was it? Jimmy Buffett had a song, "My Whole World Lies Waiting Behind Door Number 3.
Behind door number 3.
Yeah.
It's time now for the Showcase Showdown. You could win this. Isn't that how they did it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I can't do it.
A new bedroom suite.
And then your parting gift prize.
Yeah.
I always liked in some of those game shows, you get turtle wax for a year. It's like, really? Well, how many times are you going to wax your car? You get a year's supply of turtle wax. Okay.
Still got it.
Yeah, still got it. There you go, out in the garage. So, hey, Tennessee football wraps up, as most colleges have wrapped up in the last week or so.
Yep.
In fact, they all wrapped up last week because the draft is tonight.
Right.
Talk about the Orange-White game. What did you think? Down in Knoxville, they have we were at the Speedway, so I was totally out of the loop. Good crowd. Were you there?
Wasn't there.
Okay.
Wasn't there. I watched it on TV. I couldn't make it because I was showing houses. And, of course, it ended at halftime because of the weather. But you have to take a few things away. Quentin Dormandy had a good game. But you have to realize, too, that the defensive backs were not breaking on the ball. And the coverages were very vanilla. And but his accuracy, his pocket presence, I mean, the kid is big, 6'4", 225. He looks like a quarterback in the pocket. He looks like an NFL guy. He's a great pocket presence. He just looks the part and has a big-time arm and really threw some nice back shoulder fades, things like that. Garantano didn't have quite the day that Dormandy had. Of course, Dormandy did the Hail Mary at the end and hit the cardboard cutout right in the top of the head. The heck of a throw from 60 yards. Of course, that got everybody fired up. But still, that's not live bullets coming at you, and it's not anything like it. The consensus seems to be possibly that you'll see 2 quarterbacks for the Georgia Tech game. Dormandy probably start, and then you'll see Garantano come in. And I guess it's just a feels thing to see how these guys do once the lights come on. And I understand they're having some problems with Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. It's not going to be totally complete by the time the game gets here. But they will play it inside that new dome. But I think you'll see Tennessee possibly play 2 quarterbacks. Let's see which one fits the best. That's going to be hard to read because it's in my order. But also on the defensive side, Darrell Taylor showed out really well. Had 2 sacks and 4 tackles for loss in the game, and he's supposed to be the heir apparent to Derek Barnett, and he's very aware of what he has to do. Carlton Fields-Aimee had a really good game at tailback. you could see his toughness in the way he ran and hit the hole and got hit and bounce off the first tackle and make extra yards. So Tennessee has some depth problems at running back, so you expect Ty Chandler to come in and give some immediate depth behind Kelly and Fields-Me. But it was nice to see how tough he ran the football. Even the announcers mentioned that, he ran with a toughness which Tennessee really needs. So, it was all in all, it was a good spring practice. Butch Jones doesn't reveal a whole lot. He doesn't play a game like Alabama plays, but you don't get anybody hurt either. And I personally, with the way Peerless Price got hurt a couple of years ago when he was a junior and Manning was upcoming, there's a stupid hit and he gets hurt and he's out. I've never forgotten that. So you don't want to ever have that happen in a spring game. Have a key player get hurt.
No.
So we're all healthy coming through it. I think 13 guys missed the game, so not a big deal. But now we go to summer and recruiting.
Recruiting recap, and a young man named Wiggins is now on board. Tell me about that.
Well, Shaq Wiggins is a cornerback, and he is an all-ACC cornerback. He's a graduate transfer from Louisville. He went to Louisville because Coach Grant. He started with the University of Georgia, 4-star athlete out of the University of Georgia, and played his freshman year. His coach leaves and goes to Louisville. He transfers to Louisville with him. He graduates college. Grantham has now gone to Ole Miss or Mississippi State. I can't remember which one. And it was felt that he would go there. But Tennessee was able to pull him, and they believe it was because of his relationship with Alvin Kamara that Wiggins was able to pull down. Plus, the Tennessee depth chart at quarterback isn't the best. So this kid will push. He's an all-ACC corner, in a pass-happy league with Florida State and Clemson, North Carolina, those guys. So he'll come in and make an immediate impact, which is what they want. He'll play 1 year, but he'll provide much-needed depth at that position, and hopefully be the shutdown corner that Cam Sutton was before he got hurt. So it's a big pickup for Tennessee, probably the biggest pickup. Other than, Caden Mays is big, and so is Alontae Taylor. But this kid's going to come in and make an immediate impact like Trey Smith. So that was a very big pickup.
Talking to Kevin Armour, talking Tennessee football. Again, we're live here at Champion Chevrolet. Coming up, we'll check in with Steve McCauley from the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Mike Penix, and Jordan Corbin. Who are these young men?
Well, they're one's a quarterback. Penix is a quarterback that Tennessee's been high on for a while. He's not highly rated, but Tennessee is very high on him. And Jordan is a running back out of Florida. And they're both out of Florida, which, the reason I put that down is that Tennessee sort of is opening, because of Larry Scott and Charlton Warren, they're opening this pipeline to Florida and getting a lot of the players, getting a lot of decent players out of the state of Florida. They got Tyler Bird, Carlton Fields-Me, Marcus Tatum. So they're getting some players out of Florida. The Penix kid is a quarterback they've wanted for a while, but I also have down there, I believe his name is Adrian Martinez.
Yes.
He is a California commit at quarterback. He came and visited Tennessee, and he went home and decommitted from California. So Tennessee feels very good about their chances to land him, and he is a ready quarterback, ready to go, 4-star rated. The only problem is he lives in California. If you want your parents to come and see you play, it's tough to do that from California. Even with TV now, but it's a little different. But other than Casey Clausen, we've not had a lot of great results from California kids. It's just a long way to come, and Knoxville's totally different from anywhere in California. So, but this kid seems to be very high on Tennessee, and he had a very good visit. So, we'll see.
We're talking to Kevin Armour, talking Tennessee sports. Zach Weatherly got his name down there, and also Adonis Ote. I can't read his right. Adonis.
Yes, he is a 2019. Will be probably your number one player in the state of Tennessee next year. He's out of cornerback. He's out of Blackman in Murfreesboro, Blackman in Middle Tennessee, and he is committed to Tennessee. He's just a sophomore, but he's already come on board. Adonis Ote.
Then you look at the draft coming up. You got Barnett, you've got Sutton, you got Kamara, you got Dobbs. These guys, Malik Foreman. Maybe some of the guys are going to get drafted off the Tennessee football team. I think they all will. Where they end up remains to be seen, of course. But draft starts tonight. We'll have a complete against the first 2 or 3 rounds. Will be tonight, if I'm not mistaken. We'll have the complete rundown tomorrow. We'll be at Food City in Kingsport for the Midnight Madness sale in Clinchfield. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow. But again, you feel like Tennessee's guys are going to go pretty high in the draft?
I think that, of course, Barnett. I read everywhere from second to 30th, and if it goes 30th, he goes to the Cowboys, and I'm sure there's a little bit of that wouldn't be a bad place. They need an edge rusher, and you got all the pieces in the place there to make a Super Bowl run, and that, you go second, you go to I can't even remember who's picking second.
San Francisco,
and they're really struggling right now. So, I'd love to play for the Cowboys. Personally, but you want to see Barnett go as high as he can and get as much as he can. And you were talking with David about the difference. Myles Garrett has all the measurables. He didn't do quite as well as Barnett did as far as production, but Myles Garrett runs a better 40, has a higher vertical leap, and all this other stuff that they measure. And these kids, unfortunately, for a lot of the kids that have high production in college, if you don't have the measurables, then you drop down in the draft. And that's really why Garrett's going first. But everybody has questioned his production, especially, only 12 of his 32 sacks came against SEC competition, whereas I believe 28 or 29 of Barnett's sacks came against SEC competition. Actually, 31 of his 33.5, the other ones were against Nebraska, I believe. So he had a high amount of production against good quality opponents. And he's a gamer, and he wrote a really nice letter to all the GMs talking about, what kind of player he's going to be. I'm very interested to see where he goes. And Alvin Kamara and Josh Dobbs, I believe Kamara will go second round, maybe late first, maybe. But I do believe you'll see him in the second, and Dobbs seems to be climbing the chart. So people look at anywhere from 3 to 4. So in this order, I believe you get Barnett, Kamara, then Dobbs, then probably Malone will be a 4th-round pick. Then you got Wiseman, Dylan Wiseman, Kroom, which may go late, and then Malik Foreman, the local kid we've seen play, and it'd be pretty cool to see him going in the draft. He ran like a 4.29 40, so he is bound to get picked somewhere just based on that one measurable. That's a fly. It's flying. So he'll get the NFL and take to coaching, and hopefully he does very well.
I got a couple minutes left here. Softball, baseball, and also you're heading off to Nashville. We'll talk about that in a second. But softball, baseball, what's going on in Tennessee right now?
Softball this weekend's Florida. It's they're number 1 in the country. Tennessee's 9. Tennessee's winning streak is over now, 20 games. They got lost to LSU Sunday on a walk-off home run.
They're playing here or there?
They're playing in Knoxville.
All right.
And one thing to know about Florida is their top 3 pitchers are the top 3 pitchers in the country for ERA.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're number 1 for a reason. But if you get to their pitchers, their offense isn't quite measured up to their defense, but they don't need to score much. They win games 1-0, 2-0, because nobody can hit their pitchers.
There you go.
And I happened to sit down and watch them the other night, and they had their number 1 pitcher. I forget her name, but man, oh man, it's going to be a tough series to win. But it's a great measuring stick for where the Vol program is right now. This is supposed to be a rebuilding year. They've got all the recruits coming in next year. So we'll see. We'll see. Matty Moss will go on the mound first, probably tomorrow night against their number 1 pitcher. And when you have the top 3 pitchers in the country, and the girls, the first one, number 1, her ERA is like .64, and
wow.
The third one is like .98.
.64 ERA.
So
that's bringing it.
You're not going to outslug them. You've got to make your breaks, and you've got to get your runs when you can. It's going to be a great series. I'm thinking if I can get my work done tomorrow, I'll be at tomorrow's game at 2 o'clock.
Baseball.
Well, the big news there is Kyle Serrano. He's gone. He's quit the team, and which you wonder about his dad now. And if my guess is a change will be made once the season's over. His contract's over, and they'll let it expire. Then they'll hire another coach.
So his kid quit the team?
Yes.
Yeah. That's usually when
he's had some health issues.
When dad's the coach and the son quits the team for whatever reason.
Yeah, they're pointing at the health reasons. He had Tommy John surgery.
Yeah.
He's just never really reached his potential here. And Serrano made the College World Series at Cal State Fullerton, and I forget the other school, but the SEC is a tough conference. 10 teams are in the top 30 in the country. It's just a different animal, and he just never could take hold here. Sorry about that.
Hold it up there, Vanna. It's good. Talking to Kevin Harmon, we have about 30 seconds left for the break here. In fact, we're actually going to run over, and that's okay because
we're on the internet.
We're not bound by time, baby. We can do it as long as we need to do it. is rocking and rolling.
That's right.
Predators, you're heading to Nashville to watch.
Yes,
the
I am.
Preds.
You know, that's a great story. Davis called me, I don't know, early last week and said that he was going to buy me a birthday present, and he got he and I tickets to see the Predators and the Blues.
Davis is his son.
He is, and Predators and the Blues Sunday afternoon in Nashville. I've never been to a hockey game, so my first hockey game is going to be an NHL playoff game, and I'm telling you, playoff hockey is fun to watch.
Intense.
It's intense. That last minute last night was intense when they had the lead, and the Blues were just attacking right and left. It was an intense game to watch. I mean, you're on the edge of your seat, just going, please hold them off. You know, they were 3-1. They come back and tie it, and then we get the late goal. I can't wait to get down there. I really, we're staying at Dickerson Pike, got a little Comfort Inn down there, and then we're going to go and watch a game and have a great time.
Okay. I know we're going to stay. I know we're going to have to eat. This guy's jacked up.
We're planned out.
Now, this is all I'm going to ask. I'm going to see if this works. See if this will work. See. Hey, I collect refrigerator magnets. Would you bring me back a refrigerator magnet from the Nashville Predators?
Yeah.
I'll pay you for it.
Oh, yeah.
For a little souvenir.
Yeah, I think they're about $100.
Good dog. Good dog.
You said you were going to pay me for it.
I can cut one out and
Do I have to bring you a paid receipt?
Sure, I'll reimburse you. I'll reimburse you.
I will get you.
I'll get the
I'm going to get a Predator shirt too. I'm going to get the Supan, I believe that's a 76 or somebody like that. I'm going to get we're going to go to the game decked out. I'll be like, remember the guy from Seinfeld, that had the Blackhawks or the Ranger stuff on it.
He's going to go to the spaghetti factory in Nashville, about an $800 tab for the dinner, and come in and hand me. He's going to go home and scratch that and go, Davis, we'll say this is a refrigerator magnet. He said he's going to reimburse me. So a $45 refrigerator magnet.
That's right.
Nah, probably not.
It'll never come off. Just make sure it's not below your
$45,
your
it
water.
better not come off. I can tell you that. It's in, baby.
So you want the one with the big fangs coming down?
Super glue it right in my head for a $45 magnet. So anyway.
Can't wait to see the game.
That's going to be awesome.
I'm a Predators fan.
You'll be able to give me a report next week.
They lost the Fiala guy. He broke his leg last night. I don't know if you saw the hit. It was a pretty wicked hit. But it was legal, and just unfortunate. And it's not a crippling injury for the Predators. They'll be able to. I've talked to some guys this morning that know a little bit about it, and it's a blow for sure. But they do have other players that can step up, and that seems to be their mantra right now. Is everyone seems to be stepping up for the Predators. It's a good game. It'd be great if they made the Stanley Cup Finals.
Awesome. Be awesome for the state.
And then they said Nashville couldn't be a hockey town. Yeah. It just shows, you bring a winner, Johnson City could be a hockey town.
You got it. Just like they said the Predators will be
supported
in Nashville. They also said that this show wouldn't last. I'm at 5:06. Kevin Harmon.
You're a Predator.
I am a
That's
Predator.
What I was
I'm a Predator. Whatever that means.
Well, you got the big fangs coming down.
I'm a Predator. P-R-A-Y. I'm a Predator.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. See you
That's
next week.
I mean.
Have a great trip. Remember, refrigerator magnet under $5 or
I got to bring the receipt.
$47
Paid
magnet.
receipt.
Are you kidding me? All right. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. We'll talk to Steve McCauley next to wrap this thing up. We're live at Champion Chevrolet on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at FCA.org.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You've been involved in a car accident. You may be out of state on vacation or just a few miles from home. What do you do? Who do you call? At Farmers Insurance Group, one call is all you have to make. Hello, this is Jim Klein, an agent with Farmers Insurance. It's called One and Done. You don't have to wait till Monday morning to file a claim. You can make the initial call and we'll begin right away to help you. We assist you in moving the vehicle to a certified repair shop, getting you set up with rental car, and informing your agent. Then here at the staff at Jim Klein Farmers Insurance, we follow the claim through to the end. It's that easy. One and Done. We're your one and done location for all your insurance needs. Auto, home, life, commercial, workers' comp, and bonds. We can help you with all your insurance needs. Give me a call today, Jim Klein Farmers Insurance at 247-5400. Your one and done location in Kingsport, 247-5400.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
Back with the Tom Taylor Sports Show again. Thanks for being with us. We're live here at Champion Chevrolet in the Bristol Motor Mile. We're going to wrap this thing up because we're running a smidgen over, and that's okay. But he stopped by. Let's get him on. Steve McCauley. Well, you look nice. That Vanna thing.
Thank you. This is great. I wish I could make Vanna money by doing this. Yeah. I heard she makes $8 million a year by turning those letters. Unbelievable.
Here we are.
So anyway, you only pay me half that.
Beating and banging. She's out turning letters for $8 million a show, or $8 million.
Yeah. Well, you're getting pretty high tech here. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
High tech redneck.
We got even more stuff coming, so
we're
going to take it to the next level.
Well, this is good.
We're here talking to Steve McCauley, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Let it rip, my friend. You got a Breakfast of Champions and a golf tournament.
I do.
In here in about
Breakfast of Champions next Friday, a week from tomorrow, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. We're going to have breakfast, or is it Cinco de Mayo? I don't know. But Breakfast of Champions. It's a monthly breakfast that we do at the Shoney's restaurant in Johnson City, Tennessee. Beautiful Johnson City, Tennessee. So if you're within, a drive of a morning drive commute of Johnson City, Tennessee, we would love to have you. It starts early. It starts at 6:15. And I polled a bunch of coaches 2 years ago when we started this breakfast, and I said, would you want to start at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m.? Most of them said 6 a.m., so we did it for about a year at 6 a.m. And some of the retired guys complained about that, so we bumped it down to 6:15. We bumped it 15 minutes to help some of those guys get there. But we have a good group, fellowship. We have a different speaker each week. It's kind of morphed into a men's group, but it's not just men. I mean, everybody's invited. We've got some young college guys. We have had some high school kids that come in if they get up early enough. It's from 6:15 to 7:15. The first Friday of every month at Shoney's, and it's just come in, get whatever you want for breakfast. It's self-service on that, but we provide the speaker, the encouragement, the fellowship, and a great word. And we've got a friend of mine who's a character coach over at David Crockett High School, Bob Fike. He's a John Maxwell coach and speaker, and he's going to share a devotional with us next Friday. So hopefully you can join us. Tom, I'd love for you to come out.
Next Friday morning, we'll see if I can't do that.
I'll buy you breakfast even. Yeah, we normally buy, if you come as my guest the first time, I'll buy you breakfast the first time. So, and it is all you can eat, so you can sit there all day.
Like a big old bear.
Yeah.
Lure me with food.
So yeah, it's going to be good. And then the golf tournament is May 22nd. So that's coming up, 3.5 weeks from now or whatever. And May 22nd at Link Hills, the beautiful Link Hills Country Club in Greenville, down on the Asheville Highway there. And we're looking forward to that. We're hoping to have a full field. We've got about, I think right now we're up to about 20 teams. 20 teams signed up, and it's going to be a great event. If anyone wants to register, get information, they can go to fcatricities.org, fcatricities.org, and you can click on my email, or you can call me or text me. And my name's Steve McCauley. I'm the FCA director, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
We have 1 minute left here. I want him to, in closing here, to step up to the plate as only he can do. And for you folks out there that have heard FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, what's it all about? Give me the mission statement of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes in closing.
It's impacting the world for Christ through the influence of athletes and coaches. Period. Exclamation point, actually. We want to reach the whole world through sports. The Lord's given us for such a time as this. I think of, Esther. She said God picked her to save the Jewish people in the book of Esther at just the right time. We live in a sports crazed culture, and I'm not sports crazy. I mean, you are, and the guy that was just on here. I mean, the stats and the stuff. But we live in a sports saturated, sports crazed culture. When a 19-year-old makes $120 million for throwing a ball, I mean, that's a sports crazed culture. The Olympics come along, just the craziness of it all. But for such a time as this, so it's like God just dropped FCA in 1954 into the middle of a sports crazed culture called America in the 1950s, and it's just grown and exploded. And FCA's grown as sports culture's grown, and now we're doing club sports, we're doing rec leagues, we're bringing devotionals. And in fact, tomorrow evening they're having seniors night. There's a little baseball team called the Flames in the area. They've got they're just they're playing at Milligan College, and they're going to be playing Happy Valley tomorrow evening at Milligan, and it's a great group of kids. They've got a varsity and a junior varsity. They're going to honor their seniors tomorrow night, and I'm going to give them a gift, a devotional book gift, and give them a little devotional and bless them. And so it's just great stuff. Get the word out.
Website is
fcatricities.org.
There you go. I appreciate you coming by.
Thank you. It's good to be here. It's always good to see you.
He's been watching on the internet, popped in and said,
I knew where you were today, and I thought I'd come over and say hello. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
You got it.
God bless you, my brother.
He sent me a picture again this weekend up at the Speedway, and I was working, and that was pretty cool. I've shown several folks, showed them up on the Colossus big screen, the Jumbotron, or not Jumbotron, but Colossus, the largest four-sided outdoor digital video board in the world. So Vigital. I just created a new word. That's great. Hey, we're out of time. I do want to say thanks, Steve. Great job, my friend. Again, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. We're all about promoting the Lord on the show and sports. Again, this is how I look at sports. Sports is one spoke in the big wheel of life. It is not the spoke, but a spoke in the big wheel of life. And so, but it is important, and we certainly want to give due diligence when we can talk about that. Before we get out of here, let's run down real quick. Baseball, we got some big games today. One, none bigger than right down the road at Cardinal Park. Again, Science Hill and the Dobbins Minute Indians. We have an animated co-owner over there. Mr. Copenhaver is jacked up and ready to go. He said, let's play two, baby. So from yesterday, Cock County beat Cherokee 3-2 in 8 innings. We had North Green over Hampton 3-1. Science Hill beat Daniel Boone 12-1. South Dole over Morristown East 10-7. Sullivan East beat Sullivan North 7-1. South beat Volunteer yesterday in baseball 7-3. Tennessee High all over Crockett 12-2. Unaka doubles up University High 4-2. In Southwest Virginia, Chilhowie 5, George Wythe 2. Gate City beat Eastside 12-10. Union in 5 innings beat Ridgeview 16-3. And Virginia High, the Bearcats beat Abington in Virginia baseball 3-2 today. The big one for the conference lead as the tournament starts next week. Dobbins Minute at Science Hill, Cardinal Park tonight. And Tim, what time's that start? 7? 6? 6 o'clock first pitch tonight. It'll be the Hilltoppers, the Indians at Cardinal Park here, in Johnson City. In softball from yesterday, Daniel Boone just keeps on keeping on. The Lady Trailblazers beat Volunteer 13-1. Sullivan East over Sullivan Central 8-0. They keep on keeping on. They're 25, 26, 24. I have to double check, and I apologize. I should know that, and I don't. But Daniel Boone's won 20-plus games in a row for Coach Jenkins, and they're on a roll. Sullivan East beat Central 8-0. Unicoi County over Sullivan South 7-3. University High's ladies beat Unaka 4-3, and in softball in Virginia, Southwest Virginia Eastside over GI Burton 11-1. Softball today, Twin Springs and Dobbins Minute, Unicoi County at Sullivan South, and Elizabeth and Johnson County as the clouds gather. Obviously, that would all be weather permitting. Now, before we get out of here, Champion Chevrolet, let me tell you one more time about these event vehicles that are from the track. We were in here 2 weeks ago. They had a guy in here from New Martinsville, West Virginia, in here buying a truck or a car because he saw it on the internet, came down here and checked it out. Just back in in February, walked in here. There's a couple in here from Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia. How many Chevrolet dealership they passed from Georgia to here to get here to buy a vehicle from Champion Chevrolet? These guys do it, and ladies, and do it right as only they can, because that's why they're the number one. There are 50 plus Chevrolet dealerships in the entire state of Tennessee, and this one where I sit every Thursday is the number one in the state. Now, you think when you go up against the dealerships in Knoxville, Nashville, Chattanooga, and certainly Memphis, much larger metropolitan areas, and these folks are the number one in the state, what's that tell you? It tells you they do it right, and it's just the way it is. It's, as the old boy said in Dragnet, the TV show, the facts don't lie, ma'am. The facts don't lie. Silverados, again, these vehicles were used at the Speedway. Silverado 1500 crew cab, half-ton 4x4 LTZ, 6.2 liters. They've got 13 of those discounted, ready to go. They come with an extra discount because they were used in Bristol Motor Speedway's activities last weekend. They also have Silverado 2500 crew cab, 4x4 diesel LTZs. They got 8 total of those. And so you got 21 of these trucks marked down. They got an Equinox that's marked down. They got a Corvette they used up there that's marked down because they were used in the in the festivities this weekend at Bristol Motor Speedway is what I'm trying to say. They were slightly used. We're talking, Tim, how many miles do you have on those, Chief? What do you think up there? 50 to a couple hundred miles tops. They're virtually brand new, and so you'll get them with an extra discount because they have that low mileage on them, but they were used again purely for the festivities and all the pomp and circumstance that went on at Bristol Motor Speedway over the weekend, because Bristol Motor Speedway is a bow tie track, Chevrolet track. I just sound like a redneck. I'm a bow tie track. Tell you what, there ain't nothing better. If I could ever have the dream car that I would want, it would be a 57 Chevy Bel Air. Man, I tell you, I've wanted one of those since I was a kid. The guy back up home. Huh? That's what cars look like. Yeah, they had some personality. An old boy drove it up there, and where I'm from, a guy by the name of Farrell Lacey. In fact, he's still alive. I checked on him. He used to have a souped up, jacked up in the back, 57 Chevy, deep dish Kragers on the back. Whew, that bad boy would go. It was kind of a aquamarine, turquoise maybe a better way to describe the color. That thing coming up, blah, 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 coming down the road. Whoo, had a Hurst shifter. I mean, that baby would roll. Had dice hanging off the mirror. Farrell Lacey, from back where I'm from, had him a 57 Chevy. And that bad boy, Pat, listen, I'm getting excited. That bad boy would go. So, anyway, if I could have my dream car, it would be a Chevrolet, a 57 Chevy. I don't have it, but Champion Chevrolet's got all the cars you want right here, I promise you. And so, Tim, what's the website again, sir? We're so redneck. I just hollered, he hollers back. Champion JC, we're country's cornbread. ChampionJC.com. So we want to say thanks to all of our guests today. Of course, Andy Dietrich, co-owner of Champion, was here. Tim Salyer with the Major League Baseball update. We had Carmichael in today talking about everything coming and going. We had Chip Pratt with us from WLW in Cincinnati. We contribute to that radio station every week. The big one covers 38 states, and so we got Chip and his wife and Mike and Kara down here to watch Bristol Motor Speedway for the first time. They're hooked. They're coming back in August. We also had Kevin Arm, UT Sports Report, and also Steve McCauley from the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Tomorrow, we take our show across the Tri-Cities to Kingsport. We'll be at Clinchfield Street Food City tomorrow for the Midnight Madness sales. We'll be ready to go. Pat Patterson will join us tomorrow from Performance Racing Network with a pre-race preview, if you will, from Richmond International Raceway. We'll be joined by Hank Brown from WeRunEvents.com. 3 events coming up this weekend in the Tri-Cities. 2 of those to run for great causes. We're talking 5Ks. And so one of them's called the Colors of Cancer 5K. We'll talk about that. It's going to be up in Berks Garden, Virginia on Saturday. Also tomorrow, we're going to be joined by Josh Lawson from the Kingsport Mets. We're also going to be joined by Bill Patrick and some folks from the Kingsport Speedway. So got a full show tomorrow as well, live at Food City in Kingsport. We are out of time. We sincerely thank you for yours. And again, till we greet you tomorrow at 11 o'clock from Food City in Kingsport, we'll tell you as always, win or lose, be a good sport. So long, everybody.